Gonna make this pretty miserable for them. Make it go.
I think I just fixed it. Hold on.
Slideshow?
Oh, yeah, I just fixed it. They can hear now.
Okay.
Do you just want to tell them again?
Yeah, if you guys put in the chat how long you guys have been in the business. That's really what I'm looking for. And then I don't know that I can see the chat. Oh, there we go.
You have 1 week. Can you see it? Oh, it is copy up there.
It's popping up on the screen.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Jacqueline, we got 1 week. 1 week. Okay. All right, we'll wait on the rest of it. So I was talking with Shanna. So this is a very, I have 3 hours basically. And so for the content that we're going over, we could probably do this in about 25 minutes if we really wanted to. So what I want to know is what problems are you guys having? I'm going to write them on the board, like at least one from each of you. So as we're going through this, if I could find a way to weave it in or see how it can help, I would like to do so. So if you guys want to just tell me a problem that you're having.
Finding your inventory,
Okay, so inventory.
like off-market stuff. I know how to look on MLS, but I don't know the tricks of,
So specifically
Finding
finding
stuff.
off-market deals.
yeah.
Okay. Got it. Aaron? Aaron? Yeah, Aaron.
I would say mine would probably be like where I should focus most.
Okay. When you say focus most on like
Getting started.
just the things to do.
Mhm.
Christine?
Technology,
Okay.
like finding records of the properties and things.
I got you. Let's see here. Jeff?
I would say making clients understand a realistic price budget.
Okay. That's tough.
That's tough.
Oh, that's really tough.
It's probably a forever issue.
It is, always, always. Corey.
You want us to shout at you when they put something in the chat
please
for a
do.
little bit? We've got focus because I feel flabbergasted trying to do it all at once.
Okay, so focusing on important things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably where to start, because I think everyone.
Yeah.
Virtual is like,
Super new.
yes,
Okay.
licensed for 1 month, I think was the longest response we got.
Then forget what you.
I don't know that I really have struggles in my head today,
Okay.
but I'm excited to learn the market. To understand it, to put it, become the expert in the area. Like,
Yeah.
what's that look like? Make that tangible.
So I'm gonna blast through the PowerPoint. I say blast through it. If you guys have questions, please ask. I'll make sure to explain it. It's a fairly good overview and Shanna's given me free roam to do not whatever I want, but she's giving me some latitude, so it's just really cool. So how do you? Oh, how'd that work? What'd you guys think of the first 2 sessions?
I loved it.
Yeah, what were
I
like
loved all of it.
what were some like takeaways from it? So I can kind of try to get a feel for where you guys are at. I don't want to waste your time today. That's like my biggest thing.
Being intentional on tracking numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tracking this
Good one.
big thing yesterday.
Is that with Monica?
Yeah.
She's a beast.
She was,
She's a beast. She's awesome.
That nobody's an expert and it's always good to continue to learn.
yeah,
Okay.
that's,
That was hard.
when he
That's a good
talked
one.
about that was Wes, he talked about,
Wes Litton.
yeah, not becoming so knowledgeable that you learn yourself out of the business. Always be open to new, and I was like, and he used scripture, and it just was like an aha.
Just gotcha.
Like, we can learn our way out of a relationship with God, and I was like, that's so good. In life in general, just knowledge can make us think we are something we are not.
Yeah, it's really, so that's a really good takeaway. Because that was a hard one for me.
So good.
Because you can know everything in the world, but unless you like implement it, you've not
Yeah.
done anything yet.
Yeah,
Which is crazy, because when you learn it, you're like, oh, I feel really good right now. It's like, you've not done anything though. Like, that's my biggest trap. I
yes.
love learning stuff,
Mhm.
but applying stuff's like,
That's me, like, I
Like
feel
that.
like I could get paid to learn,
for sure.
but it's applying it, like, that's
Stuff,
where I'm stuck. Yeah,
yeah, that's where the secret sauce is, it's in the
Mhm.
implementation. You can give all the ideas away all day long.
yeah.
Most people just won't do the stuff that you gotta do. Let's see, what did she say? Oh no, how did I do that?
Yesterday,
Time
she got,
management calendar plan?
yesterday she talked about too, about not showing more than 4 houses.
Yeah,
And coming back and regrouping, because I had had a client that was like wanting to see every
everything under
awful,
the sun.
yes, and I was like, last night I was like, hold up.
Hold
What are
on,
we, what
wait a
are,
minute.
what are we doing? Let's come back to the drawing board, because this isn't working.
I got you.
And so that was really,
Yeah, okay, so the thing that I want you guys to have as a takeaway when we leave. So know this, I'm gonna go all over the place. So if I lose you, please, I'm giving you permission, please be like, hey,
come
come
back.
back, please come back. I don't know where we just went. Like, because I want to walk you through it. I've been doing this now for 4 years, and once I came in here, I really started getting intentional, which we talked about, the intentionality is already up there. Once you start doing that, it gets wild and it goes really fast, really, really quick. So if I say something that you don't know, or if I make a leap that you don't have the stepping stones to, pump my brakes, I can go back and we can find the missing pieces there, okay? Okay, so this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna figure out your market. We're gonna build your expertise, utilize resources, recaps, and ahas, and then daily success habits. So for daily success habits, I know you guys have got it. I'm gonna try and be done by 2. So we've got an hour. That last hour, I really wanna help you guys come up with your own scripts based on what we have here. Because you have to use scripts. You have to do them. It's a non-negotiable. You've gotta do it. You don't have to hate doing it though, and you don't have to say what the script says. What you have to understand is what the script is trying to portray to your people. And then you've got to be able to say it in a way that's you, because they want to work with you, right? Not the script. That's why scripts are weird. So the last hour, we'll spend some time on that, okay? So here's the truth. If it has been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how that can be possible in your world. So Dan Holt has a story that he talks about this. No one in our market center sold more than, or no one in our area sold more than like 150 homes or something like that. And then Dan went to a family reunion. I think it was a market in Tennessee. It doesn't really matter. Someone sold 300 homes, same price point. He came back, he sold 500 houses. So once you know it, you've just got to go apply it. And so I guess just don't think about boxes, especially in this building. Of this, I will get on this first, and then I will not touch this again. You guys are in a market center that outperforms 90% of market centers.
It's incredible.
This market center is insane. So if you truly want to learn and get really good at real estate, there are so many people in this building that are known nationally for things that they do, and they will take your phone call. And they'll just answer whatever question you have, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do because they've done it. So if you're looking at something and you're not sure that it can be done, check the market center because it probably has been done. And then once you know that it can be done, it's just time to do it. Okay. Know your market. So knowing and connecting with your market is all about research and preparation. Because what is the market? Has anybody defined market with you guys yet? I mean, this is important. What do you guys think the market is?
Houses that are for sale.
Okay. Anybody else? How I look at it is it's houses for sale is the inventory. Market's the buyers. Buyers and sellers.
Because you're marketing people.
It's people. For me, it is always, every time, going to go back to people. That's why I'm excited for this class, because it's connecting with your market, and your market is people. What you're selling your people, or what your people are buying, is a house. Okay? So it is all about research and preparation. 3 types of markets, do you guys already know what they are? Is it already up on the?
Yeah. We have one in our packet.
Yeah. So a buyer's market, which one are we currently in?
Sellers,
Seller's market. Why are we in a seller's market?
because there's
Oh,
less
inventory.
inventory
Hmm?
than there are
And
buyers.
who is a seller's market good for?
Sellers.
Seller.
1000%. What does a seller have to do after they sell?
Bye.
1000%. So buyer's market is more than 7 months of inventory, balanced market is 5 to 7 months. We are never in a balanced market for very long. As a matter of fact, since I've started real estate, I think we've been in a seller's market the entire time.
That's what I was fixing to ask you, because I started with you 5 years ago and it's been a weird 5 years to see the market, but I'm trying to, even back end of 2018, I don't think it was really a buyer's market. And stuff sat on the market for a while sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, average day market was like 27. And right now it's 9, I think. Which is like, if you're buying a house, that sucks. 'Cause you gotta move. Like, and I wanna write this down. One of the things that's really hard when you first start is, does anybody here wanna feel like a salesman, like a salesperson? Is it like the biggest fear that you guys have?
Yes.
Okay, that was 100% mine when I started. There is nothing that you can do to sell them a house. You're not selling a pen. You're gonna walk into a house, they're gonna say, I don't like this one. What's the thing that you can say that's gonna make them wanna buy that house?
Ask them what they love.
No, but I hate it. I don't like this house.
Oh, hate it.
I don't like this house. Sell me on it,
It's cheap.
okay? No thanks. Really and truly, if we're talking about making you feel salesy, like you're gonna have to try really hard to make them buy something they don't want. You're gonna try really hard to feel that way. If you know the numbers and you can educate them, if you can teach them to think for themselves, this is where this gets wildly fun. Because now you're actually helping them through the process. No one wants to feel salesy in the beginning. But you're not actually selling anything. You're really helping them, and hopefully by the end of this, you guys will see, your whole job is to provide perspectives for them. And so that they find a house and they like, and they say, hey, I want to buy this house, you can then say, okay, here are the options and here's what can happen, what do you want to do? You're not selling anything, which is tough. If anybody says I can sell houses, I would love to see them try and sell a house that they don't want, because that you will get ghosted and they will find another agent and you will not sell anything. Those agents disappear so fast. But when we started, 5 years ago, we had like 3,400 homes. And now we've got like 1,300, I think. I'll show you guys where to find all this also. That's crazy, guys. So in real estate, we measure our inventory in time. So how much time, if no more homes came on the market, if we kept selling houses, would we not have anything? So like, I think in 2021, we got down to like 2 weeks worth of inventory.
1,400, I think is.
Oh, we got down to like 600. Like we got down to not even a full month of inventory. And so if you're a buyer and you're reading headlines and you're looking at all these different things and they're saying like, hey, this is tough, it's tough. It's like, no, this is actually a problem. Like if you want to buy a house right now, we absolutely can, but you have to understand what you're walking into. Because your mom and dad did not buy a home when there was only 600 homes in the Tri-County area. When they bought, there might have been 15, probably 6,000, 7,000 homes. You could go look at several houses. The market we're currently in, you don't get to do that. And so where I want you guys to be able to be is when you're talking to your clients, I want you to be able to show them the data. And if they ask you questions about the data, you can explain it to them so that they can drive their process. And then you just help them along the way, okay? But buyer's market means that there are too many homes. The buyers are the ones picking and choosing. Seller's market means there's not a lot of homes and they're getting to decide. But the shift, we're never in a balanced market for very long. That's the thing that's really important. Everyone's like, I want to wait for a balanced market. You need to buy within, what is that, 5 to 7 months? So 2 months, which means you have to find it, which takes an average, I think, 10 weeks. Like in the nation, like the national average is 10 weeks right now. Then you got to close it, which is 30 to 45 days. So if you're trying to find a balanced market, if you're really trying to hit it when it's good luck. Like that's gonna be really tough. That doesn't mean that you're telling them not to try. What you're trying to show them is, here's all the things that you're gonna need to do so. Okay, have I lost anybody yet? Okay, I feel like most of this is gonna be, because everyone's so new, ask the questions, but I think we should be able to fly. So inventory is the number of properties for sale within a market. So what is the current inventory that we have? You guys know?
It's 2,400 or something like that, isn't it?
Actually pull this out here. Let's see here, we currently have. 1,300 homes for sale. 1313. Just how many are for sale? The reports that I'll show you
Is
guys,
that
which,
just Green County that you're looking at?
that's the Tri-County area.
Oh, Tri-County.
So Green Christian and Webster, Green Christian, Webster.
Webster,
Thank you. As I can do it.
not Lawrence.
Not Lawrence. I always want to say Lawrence.
We had a question, it
Yeah.
says, is that 2,400 total on the market or KWGS?
So that is a total of 1313 for sale, and that's the entire Tri-County area. That's not just Keller Williams, that's our entire market.
Because I think when you pull up the MLS, it shows
What
the
it
big
is,
number, the 2,400,
well, so then this is where it gets, yes.
which is what they're talking about.
So if you add the under contract homes, which are 619, you're gonna get closer to the 2,400, but
Got
the
it.
problem is those aren't actually for sale because they're already pending. And we want to be very real and honest with our clients, always on the data. We're not trying to scare them, but they need to know. Like 2,400, like that's quite a few homes. But 1313, we're talking a 900 home swing. That's brutal. I didn't see that. Okay, it says see the question. Yeah, do you guys know what the average day on market is right now? Let me show you guys this before I'll tell you guys the answers to this because I don't feel like this is a fair game to play. Ooh, okay, very good. Did she remove all of the stuff? Oh no. Okay, you guys fine with watching me? Oh man.
I have something to add about the KW, how many of KW inventory there is. When I first started a couple months ago, I was in the habit of going to the hot sheet and then going to my company name and looking at how many listings our office had currently.
Yeah.
And so about 2,000 active listings or whatever, but then when you go over to KW and just filter by the KW's office, I think that includes Branson, the total number of listings was like around 1,000. So it's like 50% of the active listings in our MLS were all KW.
Which is
crazy.
awesome.
It's crazy
Which is a
awesome.
really good reason to be in this building.
Yeah.
But to your client, they're not only gonna buy KW listings.
Right.
They're gonna buy whatever house or whoever has it, or sell by owner, a homeless guy that just decided he doesn't wanna live there anymore. If that's the house they want, that's the one that they're gonna use. So if you guys email Landon, email, let's see, what is his email? KLRW, everybody write this down, 369@kw.com. And ask him for the broker metrics. And also you can attend team meetings because they will do the lore, which is the language of real estate, which they talk here in a second. This market center does a really good job of giving you guys all the data that you need. You just have to know how to interpret it. Okay, and once you learn how to interpret it, if you look at it once a month and maybe spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes with it, you're actually gonna feel competent because you're gonna know the real numbers that are happening. And then so when your uncle or your friend at softball or whatever the thing is says, now there's like so many homes on the market, you can actually say, well, that's actually like 1,300. And we really need to be around 6,000. They're like, oh God, that's not a lot of homes. It's like, yeah. Because they know that you're in real estate. And does anybody know what they have to do in order to buy a home with you? They have to know, like, and trust you. Okay. They will use you right now. If you've not made a sale and you're not talking to the people that you know, you need to talk to the people that you know because they will use you even though you're not competent right now. If you don't feel competent. If they know, like, and trust you, they will use you because they want to. They want to support you. People inherently want to support you in the things that you're doing. Okay. So we will go over these. So right now we're talking about average day on market. Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can find a way. Is this gonna, ooh. Yeah, can you guys see that? Heck yeah. Oh, no, all that for nothing. Okay, here we go. So I hate graphs, so I'm gonna use the part that I use, which is right down here. It's lines, it's very
Oh,
easy.
yeah, that's way better.
Oh my gosh, graphs drive me.
I don't
they
like
drive me-
graphs at all.
Ugh. So this goes in a year time frame. So this is May of 2023. This goes back to May of 2022. What I like about this is directly from our MLS. These are the real numbers. They don't change, okay? Got another question?
No, I'm headed up.
Oh, gosh, thanks, man.
Thank you.
So the amount of homes that have gone under contract was 619 this year. But remember, this market is so different from last year's market because it's changed so much. But if you look back at the bottom number, which is May of 2022, that was 671 homes went under contract. So we're talking an actual difference of, well, I'm not gonna try and do the math, 52. 52. Okay. And the next column is the average day on market. Now, this is an aggregate total for every property that is on the MLS. So use this very generically. If you have a buyer that's that wants to live in Southern Hills, what you do is you go and you run a CMA and you look on everything that's closed in Southern Hills for the past 6 months or a year if you want to. And then it will show you the average day on market is 8 days. So you can get even more specific with the numbers by walking in and being like, 8 days. But for the Tri-County areas, that's $1 million homes, that's $40,000 lots. This is everything. The average day on market is 23. You can see that? They send these reports out every single month. And I'm gonna show you guys the 4 that I look at. And when I show you the 4, you're gonna have access to all of the numbers that you need to know way more than anybody that you're gonna run into knows. And it's real stuff. So this, last month, it was 23 as the average day on market. What was it a year ago? 9. So if you're talking with a buyer or a seller, because sellers eventually buy most of the time. What's the takeaway that they should have from this?
It's gonna sit a little longer.
It's gonna sit longer. Absolutely gonna sit longer. If you're the buyer and you're buying a house, what should you not interpret this as?
Not a long time.
It's not a long time.
I get F around.
Yeah, this goes back to the, let's see, realistic expectations. 23 days, that means I can get a deal. So we're just talking about the average day on market. We're not talking about the actual price of the home, which is another report that we get that I'll show you guys. But I love this. Literally, if you go up to our office and our team, we have this every month printed out on the back of the door. So every time that you're leaving, if you just look at it for a brief moment, you know exactly what's happening. Because if you can stay in this building and you can stay in your 80-20 and you can stay focused on the things that you need to be focused on, like you need to put blinders on everything else. You need to, all the other noise, all the other brokerages, all the other things, all of the stuff that's happening. If you can interpret these 4 reports, you can draw your own conclusions because they're numbers and it's not complicated. We understand what's happening. Any questions on this? So that was average day on market. Oh no. Okay, let's just go average home prices. Look at these graphs. Ugh. Can I see this? Okay, this is broken down into 5 different columns. Okay, we've got the for sale column, which means they're still on the market. Okay, we have the under contract column, which means they have an accepted offer in place, but it hasn't closed because the next one is sold, which means they've actually sold and closed. Then you have off market properties, and then you have new listings that are just coming onto the market. Okay.
So those numbers are what breaks down to the 1313.
100%.
Okay, just make sure.
Yes. So if our home price is falling. Okay, last May, there were 295 on homes that were for sale. Right now, they're 304.9.
They're still going up.
100%. Well, that's just those are still on the market though.
So if you look at the under contract or sold,
Very good. There you go.
that's where you're gonna find more accurate.
Yeah, so under contract is 250 to 269, and then you've got 258, it's called 259 to 269.
So they are up.
Yeah, they're still going up. The message that we're being told and your people are being told, and this is where connecting with your market, I get really fired up for, is because if you have somebody that needs to buy a house, somebody needs out of a bad situation, or parents need kids gone, or whatever the thing is, if they think it is impossible to do, or if they think prices are going down, their source of information is not you. It's the news, it's whatever they're reading, it's the headlines on Facebook, it's the Inman articles, it's whatever it is, and they don't actually read the article. Like I'm trying to stop doing this, but I'm so good at just reading the top and be like, ugh, that's gross, and then moving to the next one, and then I want to reference it in the conversation later. It's like, oh, I didn't even check into it, I didn't even look into it at all. So also, is our market different than Chicago? Yeah. Is Chicago different than LA? Yeah, I mean, so if they're looking at like San Francisco's on fire right now. But Springfield, Nixa, Ozark, Republic, like guys, buy a house. I have 5 really good friends of mine that I've been trying to get to buy a house forever. And this is what's happening. So interest rates go up. We'll talk about affordability in a second, but like as all these things are happening, they're having to buy further and further away from town. And at some point, there is going to be a moment when they cannot afford to buy unless something drastic changes. But if the message that they're hearing is, it's gonna crash for sure, it's gonna crash, you can buy at a discount later, we've seen this, it's gonna crash. Maybe, but I don't see it happening. And you can go back and look. So actually, if we look at May of 2022, it was at 258. But look, I mean, so in December, 240. In January, 257, 244, 244. We're actually only 2 months out. But the problem is that we look at 1 month and we assume that is how the rest of the year is gonna go. So if you can, once again, sit down and show your clients, and I print these off on every appointment I go on, even with buyers, and I just highlight this year and last year. Because what I want them to see is what's actually happening. And if it takes us 4 months and prices start going down, I can actually say, hey, we're 4 months trending where prices are going down. Maybe we pump the brakes for a second. And then the minute it starts going up, you can turn around and say, hey, it's starting to go back up, we need to get really serious again. But you should never be guiding them based on your opinion, because your opinion is not what they need. Does that make sense?
Facts.
Facts, data, perspective, that's all we're here for. See, so that is average price. And then, this is always a fun one, I won't spend a ton of time on it. These are the number of properties that were sold. So last May it was 621, this May it was 439. So less homes are selling, which makes sense because interest rates are super high. If I'm a seller, I don't want to get rid of my 2.5. Your average damn market's basically doubled. But the 2 columns on this report shows no price changes, which means we priced the home correctly. And the right side is 1+ price changes. So if you got that seller that's like, no, I want to list at 500, you're like, it's really worth 415. Like, yeah, but I want to try at 500. My friend in Lebanon says that I can list it and get whatever I want. My go-to response after 2 years of basically them being able to price it and probably get whatever they want is, we can do that, but in 2 weeks, we're going to do this. If you're okay with the following. If we price it right and we do not change price, you're going to get 99.5% of your list price. The average price point was like 270, I think. Can someone do some math for me on their calculator? Just do 0.5% of 270,000.
Somebody doing it?
You guys on it, or she's texting. She's being very slow.
270,000.
0.5%.
13,500.
So it'd be 1350.
1350.
Yeah. So if you price it right and we get an offer that's within $1,350 of asking, I'm gonna recommend we take it because we're right in line with what the market's doing. What's really crazy, guys, is if you go back and you look at the data here, Because remember, this is the sales price to list price, so what they actually closed at. If you were in the market last year, there was honestly, it was like an 8 or 9 month span where the average sales price to list price was over 100%. That means the average was above list price. So we had buyers that are like, we want to go in low. And so we will do that for you because we're in your corner. You're not gonna win. We're looking for the anomaly and they're looking for deals, and we'll get to that. We can show ways to do it. It's getting very difficult to do. But the second column here is when you do adjust price. So will someone take 2% of, actually here, I got it right here. But I just realized I have my phone.
There was a saying last year that whatever the sale list price was your open bidding price.
It was,
Yeah.
it was wild. It was not fun. You think when you're the buyer, or you have it and the inventory is low, if you have the listing, like this is a killer. Except for your phone's gonna go off so much that it actually dies. You get 35 offers. It's just not fun. It's not enjoyable. It is. You can take your phone charger with you to lunch because you're like. So this is if you change price, okay? So average day on market goes from 13 to 73. It's massive. Wow is the reaction I get from almost every client that I show this to. Because what does this mean for them if they're selling?
So in your seller's packet, you basically need these or buyers, like you need these to show them.
Well, I want them to know. Because whose house are they selling?
Theirs,
100%. Whose money are they getting?
theirs.
Yeah, I'm not attached to this. So if they say, in that instance, we're talking about 500 and 415, if they see this and they go, yeah, well, let's get 500, great, I'll give it my best shot. But you don't get to be mad at me if you make less money at the end because we had this conversation.
That's good.
And every time we're like, oh, well, and then you do it. And I promise you, this happens every time. We've done I think it's like 115 listings. Every single time, if you do this, give it 2 weeks. And if it is priced too high, which in this instance it would be, they'll call you. Hey, we want to drop price. Cool, how far do you want to drop? Oh, we're thinking 450. Okay, I still think we should be at 415. Okay. Then they'll sit at 450 because they know the numbers, they know what you're doing. Then a week goes by, still nothing, they'll call you again. And that second phone call, they're gonna go, okay, I want to go with 415. And then the conversation is, well, we missed that window basically. Which we'll show the data here. So 98%. So if you do change price, if you don't change price, 99.5% of list price. If you do change price, you get 98% of list price.
So you have 100%.
Yeah, you lost another percent.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, either way. So that equates to $5,400. And if we were to subtract the 1,350, you reaching for an additional 75K in this, 85K in this instance, statistically is gonna cost you about $4,100. If it's worth gambling, gamble. You're gambling your money, not mine. And the numbers say, and my goal is to make you as much money as possible always. So that's what I want to do. Also, because at 73 days, what have you paid 2 more of? Mortgage payments. If you're talking 13 days, are you paying another mortgage payment? No. Yeah, it's 100%.
How long do you get before you talk about a price drop?
Honestly, I don't have to talk about it. They call me. I set this up front. Every time, when I say that I use these reports, I use these reports every time. When you're connecting with your market, they're hiring you because you're the professional. They're choosing to use you because they know, like, and trust you. But the flip side of that coin, that what you're saying to them is, I'm going to do a good job and I understand what's happening. So you have to be able to stand your ground when they say, well, I believe I can get 500. Not a problem. I'll try that. But I believe we should be at 415. And I didn't do that in the beginning. I was very much a yes, sure. And then 30 days, you're like, how do I have the conversation and drop price? Because I didn't do it on the front end. And now I don't really know. And then when you go to have that conversation, well, this is the realness of it all. Because you didn't say it on the front end, you're not competent enough and it is now your problem because you didn't sell their house right. That sucks. And it's not fair, even if you didn't know. I got tired of feeling like that. And so what I started doing in the very beginning is say like, no, it's your money, it's your house, and we'll do it your way. But the numbers, which is what I use, is this. This is the framework that I use. And so when they call and they say, hey, we're not getting any showings, my answer is always, I know, we're $85,000 too high. And I'm marketing it the same way I marketed real property. I can show you all the things that I'm doing. I promise you, you're getting my best. But I'm fighting with one hand behind my back because we're $85,000 too high. And then they turn around and then they call me. Then they know they're too high because you stuck to your guns. You also have to be willing, in the past 2 years, we had to do this a lot. You have to be willing to sit down and eat crow because you're like, no, it's not really gonna happen. And then they listed for 500 and somebody from California comes in and like, yeah, deal 500. Like there was a good 6 months time frame when me and my team were spinning in circles because we didn't know what to do. Because the numbers were finally failing us. Because it's like, well, shoot, we don't want to cost them money either. So that's how we kind of arrived at this. It's your money, it's your house, it is what it is. And I want to be wrong. I want to get you 500,000. But also we know appraisals are a thing. So it's not like there's so many different factors at play that they don't know. Also, something that was a really big takeaway for me is don't interpret I'm going to say this word, people get really frustrated when I say this. Don't interpret their ignorance or incompetence for malice. Okay?
They don't know what they
They
don't know.
don't know what they don't know. So when you sit down at the table, you're actually teaching them stuff. And if they're fighting back, it's because they don't know what's going on.
Because I didn't know these numbers and I'm in real estate. So if I don't know them, the general public doesn't know
There's
them.
no way, because that doesn't sell things. All those articles are built is to get you to click on it and go, and then if you read it, it actually doesn't tell you 100%. So,
Happened to me.
Hmm?
Exactly, my first listing, this is exactly what happened.
oh no.
And they wanted to list it at 136. We ended up dropping it to 125.
Hmm.
Then they thought that it was my fault, so the craziest thing, but another realtor in that town that was pretty well known actually went to them without me knowing.
Hmm.
They canceled using me. Yeah, and then
That's
it
frustrating.
didn't end up selling, but for 103, and it was 7 months later on their part.
And keep in
that-
mind, these are averages.
Mhm.
The average is 7.
Yeah, I know, it sold a lot longer.
Yeah. Ugh.
I know, it's
And
horrible,
like-
for my first one too.
Yeah, I'm like, goosebumps.
I know.
Because the bummer part is that they have to know, like, and trust you. That's the whole point. Don't work with people that don't trust you. Unless you need the money, and I'm sorry, it's gonna be a terrible transaction, it's gonna be brutal, and that's gonna happen, and you just have to get through it. But the moment that you get to start kind of controlling, and you're able to control all this by focusing on the 80-20, which is what we'll talk about, which is what this whole class will be for you guys, is if you can shut everything else out and just do that, you do not have to work with people that do not trust you. And that's the best thing in the world, because they actually believe you're there to help them. I don't like working with people I don't know. The people I do know, I try to do a really, really, really good job. And I am the professional, so when I ask them, hey, who do you know that I can help next? They just went through this and you're actually helping people here. I'm not just saying that. This sucks. Being a buyer right now that's trying to buy a house right now, ask any of them, they've been looking for more than 30 days and it's awful. So also, please don't be the agent that shows up and it's just like, no, it's gonna be easy, we're gonna crush it. No, be very real with them. Show them the numbers because that allows them to set in and get the right expectations and then you guys can buckle up for the ride. And what's cool is when you use these numbers and you set the stage, you get to go through it together. So by the time that you actually get to the closing table, everyone's like, hell yeah, we just crushed this. And it wasn't like my agent didn't do anything for me. I don't subscribe to the, I want my clients to not, I do want the transaction to be smooth. That's not what I'm saying. But I want them to see and feel how hard we're working for them. It's important that they see that. Because real estate's weird. If you crush it and it looks easy, they're gonna go, well, they didn't really do anything for me. It's like, well, that's not true. But I think you can actually almost do too good of a job. But all you have to do is explain to them what's happening. hey, this is what happened, this is how I checked in, this is what I thought you guys might want to do, these are the options that you have, how would you like to move forward? But also, if you're using the numbers and just providing perspective, how many choices are you actually making? 0. You're not making any choices, which is awesome. I feel really sad for clients that have agents that are saying, this is absolutely what you should do. Because at some point you're gonna miss. And when you miss, you're gonna cost that person $30K, or they're gonna overpay for something because you're gonna find out they didn't have any other offers and they could have got it for list price. Like, oh, that's awful. That doesn't feel good. It's really hard to actually understand and know what you need to do because you have to be up to date. You gotta know your stuff, which is really, really easy. So the average day on market went from 46 to 73. I mean, if you go back, golly, at one point this was like, I think 96.3 was the lowest that it was. Guys, it's almost 5%. Like that's almost an agent. Like there was a month where you probably could have walked in and been like, hey, if we just list it right, like I'm basically free. So you might as well do it this way. I'm actually gonna make you more money. So that was price. Let's see here. Do you have any questions on those?
No, I've always seen those graphs and I'm like, never knew what I was like looking at, so I'm
Scroll
like
down.
loving it.
Scroll that down. Day on market breakdown. So this will tell you the different, how long each one has been on the market. So like 0 to 90 days, 468 to 458. 91 to 180 days, 66 to 52. 181, 76 to 62. So these markets are really similar. Let's see, what is the other?
Do you think that the market will change much?
That's such a hard question, and every client will ask that question.
Yeah,
And
what
that's
I ask
probably,
you.
that's probably the script that we'll work over when we get to, because you have to find the easiest way to say that you don't know, but you're watching and you're looking for trends.
That's good.
Like, that's all we can actually do. Like, this is actually how we run our business. There's no, there's no tricks or secrets here. This is, you walk in the office, you see this on the back of the door. Let's see, sales price list for average price per square foot. Yeah. You can go into more of these, and if you do get these and you want me to break them down for you, just text me. And I'll happily sit down and show you this. Because once you know how to interpret them, guys, it is, it's really, really good. I'll put my number up here so you guys have that. Forget. Okay, how do I get back into the thing? Nope. Yep. Maybe. Heck yeah. Okay, so that is what your inventory is. Because we're basically talking about knowing your market. Okay, interest rates and lenders. Make contacts with lenders in your area so you can stay up to date on your market and answer any questions your clients may have about the process. What questions do you guys have about interest rates? Or who in here understands interest rates?
I think the hardest thing is everybody wants them to be so much lower and go back to where we were, and to get them to grasp and understand. And not in our lifetime, but they're like, well, but it could.
Yeah.
And to understand that it's actually lower than the average over the 40 years. To get them to understand that is, even if you were to show them something, they're like, I don't care. I want 3%. I'm like,
So the average home,
Question I get the most,
what is?
interest rates.
Yes.
Will it go back down?
Oh,
Well, I'm
man.
not buying right now because it'll go back down and I'm like, you're still 5-6% lower than our parents ever bought houses in the
Yes.
80s. It was
Yeah.
11%, 12%.
So I want to break this down because this is affordability. This is what this is, and this is why. So the average home buyer right now is 33 years old. I am 33 years old. Okay, so the average person buying a home is my age. So I went back to 2008, which is the year that I graduated, because I wasn't paying attention to anything besides Call of Duty then. Okay, and then all the way up to 2020. The average interest rate was 3.2. Okay, what makes it really tough is my entire adult life of buying a home, interest rates have been low, and you're telling me that they're gonna go up. I just don't believe you because I haven't seen it. The issue is, we also just saw a historic interest rate hike. Now we see and feel, we know what 7.5 looks like. There's a problem, because we could have bought whatever we wanted to. And now prices are high, and everyone says they're going down, but what are home prices actually still doing? They're going up, which means the interest rate costs you more money in your payment every month, which means less people can buy homes. So the interest rate thing is tough because they don't know any better, but watch. If interest rates hit 5 or 5.5 or 5.7, or it is gonna be a bloodbath because every 33-year-old now understands. We know it. I could have bought, my wife and I could have bought a $600,000 house and the payment would have been exactly the same as a 315. Why would we not move? Let's do it. We'll take our time. We're fine. Then it hiked up and it's like, now we can afford 275. And it's like, whoa, what happened? I don't understand. And this is a huge issue, and this is why you need to be able to connect with your market. When I say connect, I mean actually understand where they're at. They had no reason to believe you. You were selling them on a rate because you needed a loan product. My generation has been marketed to our entire lives. You're not actually connecting with them. You were selling them something. Now you're trying to talk them into it. Well, you were trying to talk them into it then. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to help them, because now we're actually in trouble. Like, hey, if you guys don't buy a house right now, you might not be able to unless interest rates go down. We don't know if interest rates are gonna go down or not. So do you guys know like the formula for affordability? Okay, this is super simple, and you'll need this to be this simple to explain it to your clients. Okay, all affordability is the purchase price. I always say PP, because sometimes it gets a laugh. And then so you get that plus the interest rate or whatever, if this doesn't actually matter, equals A for affordability. I am not a math person. I'm talking a lot about numbers, but I'm not a math person. If you can make it a math problem, make it a math problem. Okay? Because what happens is, historically, well, your clients believe that the real estate market does this. Okay? Which is not true. Because what it does, because homes appreciate, what's really happening is this. Okay? And these are the drawings that I draw with the buyers or with the sellers, because when sellers sell, they're buying, because then they're like, oh, right. Because if you're trying to time it, the low here, I mean, like, which low is better?
So is that how you describe to them when they're dealing with interest rates and what they're doing?
This is just home prices.
Okay,
So
sorry.
this is, no, you're good. So this is just the purchase price.
Yeah.
So well, and this is why everybody wants home prices to go down. Because historically, when interest rates go up, prices go down, which means affordability is fine, right? Because the inverse is if this goes up, most of the time this goes down. Okay? And when the interest rate goes down, things become more affordable. Because the bank's taking less money. Does that make sense? Okay. What happens when purchase prices go down and interest rates go up?
Less affordable.
Stays the same.
It's relatively the same.
It just takes longer to pay off. I don't know.
Yeah, because the interest rates, but it's the concept, because you're still there. Now, here's where we're at currently. So this is why that's such a hard question to answer, because we've never done this before. Purchase prices are continuing to go up, and I know you guys can see that. Interest rates are continuing to go up. So what is absolutely happening to affordability?
It's going down.
It is plummeting super fast. So if you've got a client or you got a friend or a family member that's like, I'm gonna wait. It's like, you really shouldn't. Like, buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, because if you don't have a house, you don't get to play this game. Like, the affordability it only really affects the barrier to entry. Like the first time home buyer, I'm really, really nervous for people my age. Because it's like, guys, if you already own a house, you get to cash out the equity. You can continue to play the game. But if you don't have a house, it just gets harder and harder. And you're waiting for one of two things to happen. You're waiting for home prices to plummet, which we don't have enough inventory for it too, right? Or you're waiting for interest rates to go way down again. The thing that is most likely to happen, because inventory is so tight, is that interest rates go down. And when interest rate goes down, affordability goes up. So to that question, it is, if interest rates go down, it's time to buy. Like, it's time to get really serious. Because we don't know if they'll go back up again. Or we don't know when they'll go down. But to the, I had a client that jumped my ass. And I was like, well, you know, like my parents paid like 17, or my grandparents paid like 17% or something like that. Because I wasn't connecting with them, I was just trying to educate them. Which is a huge difference. Connecting with somebody and educating them are not the same thing. And the response was, and they were right. They also paid $60,000 for that house. And I was like, oh, that's right. So the bank needed to charge 17% interest because the bank needed to make money on $60,000. Now prices are high, rates are high. Like, it sucks. Like, we can both agree that it sucks, but I don't know where it's going. But what I do know is if interest rates go down, you can afford more house. But so can everybody else.
Is that average right now?
Average interest rate, 7.5, I think.
Gosh, I didn't realize it's coming.
So I would assume the banks want the interest rates to go down. So that more people,
That's,
right?
yeah, so this is a good, so we're deviating some that I want to play because.
No, yeah.
So oh man, I think it was, I heard Grant Cardone say this like 2 years ago, and I was like, that's dumb, but I thought I started thinking about it, like, the banks needed a product to loan money for. So, buy a house and we'll give you the money for the house, then we get the interest rate. So do banks want interest rates to go down? No, they want interest rates to go up, because they want to make as much money as they can. That's why, do bankers want rates to go low? Yeah. Bankers want rates to go as low as they can because they can sell more loans.
Our lenders want the rates to go
100%,
down.
lenders, yes.
Lenders, I guess I should
But the
say.
bank itself makes its money
Yeah.
on the interest rates and deposits. That's one of the only ways that it makes money. So it doesn't make sense for them to want it to go
I
down.
think that's what I meant. The lenders want the prices to come down because they want
Of course they do,
the loans.
because they want to make sales. 100%. That's a good distinction because that has nothing to do with affordability. Right? Like, even us as agents, whenever we're trying to make sales, right? We don't control the interest rate. We don't control the inventory. We don't control any of this, but we need to know what's going on with it all. Good question.
The common one I get is, and we see it on, I mean, I'm sure all of us wanna vomit when we see like, we're just waiting for the real estate market to crash, well, if that's the case, then we're all crashing. And that's not something anybody should want. And so that's kind of like usually my number one rebuttal, like, you shouldn't want that. Nobody should want that.
No.
So does that mean when purchase prices are falling? Like I know you were in it in 2008 or whatever, neither was I, but is that kind of what was happening? Yeah, you were still in high school.
I was a senior.
But I mean, well, there was different factors into that because of the lending side, but.
Yeah. So I wanna.
We should never want to see purchase prices of homes plummet ever.
No, so there's,
Whether you're in real estate or not, nobody should ever want that because that means
If you're a
everything's
homeowner, you
crashing.
shouldn't want that because your home's gonna lose equity.
Right.
so this is, I love you guys. This is phenomenal. So we're talking about frameworks. So do you guys know that, if Shanna's on there, she's like, he's doing it. Do you guys know the difference between perception and perspective? Because people use the words interchangeably, but they mean two very different things. So perspective is what other people give you. Perception is how you interpret the data. And you interpret the data through your frameworks, your frame of reference that you've created basically from your little kid all the way to now. So the whole way to connect with somebody, period, in relationships, which was what real estate is to show them in a way that they can't dispute, which is why I like numbers. We wouldn't want that to happen. I'm gonna wait for the market to crash for me to buy. Why? But actually having the data to be like, why would you actually want that though? Because they haven't thought about it.
Right, they just know they want instant gratification.
Yeah, well, and like they know the headlines that they're seeing, they know all of these different things and they're drawing their own conclusions and they're creating a framework that's not correct. So what I like about all of the numbers that we're talking about is when I sit down and we're talking about, most of the time I don't talk about list price. If I do, I say it first. I'm like, here's what I think you should list at. I'm like, oh, I'm like, but I don't actually care about that. What I need to know is, are you willing to trust me? And can you think like this? Because if you can't think like this, I'm not in a spot. I will hand you off to somebody on my team that needs the money more than I do, because I'm not gonna fight you for 3 months. Because I don't want to do that. But if you're willing to think in this frame, we're gonna do awesome things, because we're gonna know like what you want. So the frame of reference, or the framework that you're trying to set up for them in the appointment or the consultation, the strategy session, whatever, what's it called now? What do we call it? Okay, strategy session, is that what it is? It's changed like 5 times. I'm like, this is incredible. You just want to get them to a spot where they can understand what's happening. You want to make sure that their framework is accurate. Because once they start getting the information in, they'll call you and be like, hey, this is what I saw. What do you think? And now you're working together. So we don't want the market to crash. 100%. Remember, this is connect with your market. It's not tell them what they need to hear and hope they hear it. So what I've had to start doing with people my age and younger is like my stomach kind of turns over and it's like, well, interest rates used to be 17, you should still buy. It's like, well, should they actually buy? Have you taken the time to figure out if they should or not? Because sometimes is the answer no.
Yes.
Sometimes the answer is no, you shouldn't buy right now. You can, but it's my job to look at the data. And if you can give them a reliable framework based on real numbers, I've yet to meet somebody that made a decision that was bad for them. But they have to actually understand stuff. So what you're trying to do is pierce their perception by providing perspective. That's why I tried to describe the 2 words. So by showing them all the numbers, you're trying to show them that the way they're perceiving the current market is incorrect. But you can't do that by saying like, hey, stupid, you're wrong. Or hey, here's the numbers, just know what it is. You have to sit down with them in a strategy session or whatever it's called, listing consult, buyer consult, and say, okay, where are you at? Let me fill in the gaps. And then when you start showing them the numbers, you'll see it change, especially if they trust you and like you. Because you're showing them real data, which is everything that we just went through. And watch how fast they make decisions. Who was it that said 4 houses?
Me.
You want to know how to get somebody to buy in 4 houses?
Give them the data first.
Give them the data and sit down with them and be like, why do you want a privacy fence? Because I have a dog. Okay. Why does your dog need a privacy fence? If you can make them think about it enough, you will show 4 or 5 homes and you'll be done and it'll be awesome. Also, the realistic expectations on pricing. If they have the right framework and they understand, hey, we've got 600 homes, we want 6,000. No, we really are. Inventory is actually really low. Then they go, okay, so we need to put our best foot forward. For sure. Because you're no longer telling them, hey, you need to go in at list price or higher. They get to make the decision and go at list price or higher based off how they feel about the house. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I totally went off the rail there for a second. Okay, so it made sense. Any questions on that? Okay, so interest rates and lenders. Remember that lenders want to get the deal done. Okay, having a lender right now that is in your corner is insanely helpful because fall through is them just higher and higher and higher. But interest rates, if someone asks you what an interest rate is, what is your guys' go-to answer? Do you guys have one yet? How long have you been in the real estate? Sorry, I wanted to know.
Month and a half.
Month and a half? And how about you?
Same.
Month and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So at 2, I really want to go through it to give everybody definitions about how, I want to make you feel confident enough that you can sit down and talk real estate with anybody. Because real estate's really not that complicated. People are really freaking complicated.
Yes.
Real estate is not that complicated. What's your prediction for the next 5 years? I have no freaking idea. I don't have a clue. I can tell you what happened next month, and I can tell you what's probably gonna happen this month.
And that's your go-to is just, I'm gonna look at the data and that's what I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
right
because
now.
I like the people, I genuinely like my people. And if I made a prediction as an ego thing, and in 5 years, the odds of me being right are so slim. Like, I'd rather be like, hey, I would rather you be pissed off at me right now for not telling you something that I'm making up. Than in 5 years, you calling me like, hey, we want to sell our house. But I told you now it's gonna be fine and it would appreciate over 5 years and you're gonna be fine, because on average, nobody loses money when you invest in real estate at 7 years at a time, like whatever the thing is.
So what would you show them to show them the house prices to doing your little this? Like,
Oh.
to realize, because if you wanna know in the next 5 years, well, we know it's gonna be up, we just don't know how much.
So all of the major recessions, do you wanna know how many times home values have plummeted? Gone down,
Won't say never.
Great Depression.
No way.
went up in the Great Depression.
Did it really?
It did, it shocked the heck out of me, because I was like, what? 2008 was the only time that home prices in a depression actually lost value. Every other time they went up.
That's good to know.
It's really good to know, because historically, real estate is the safest investment that you can do if you can afford the mortgage payment over a 7-year time horizon. But that's the past that we're talking about. Sometimes you can give them that information to help them feel better about the future. But we've never seen interest rates jump a whole % in 2 months. And now that happened. So I try really hard not to predict the future. Because I don't know.
It's not worth it.
I will tell them what's happened in the past and let them make their own predictions.
Right.
And then if they're like, so is this how that would work? I'm like, that's a possibility, yeah. For sure. I want to make sure their mortgage payment is something they can afford. Because if they call me in 5 years and they can't do anything, they can't sell for whatever reason, if they can still maintain that mortgage payment, then they're fine. And they're in the game, so they get to play. So here's an interesting graph. And I think it's somewhere. But let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna start at like I don't know, let's do this. So this is what real estate was doing. 2008 happened. Okay, can you guys all see that? Okay. And then this happened. This is what's wild. So in 2020, does anybody know the average home appreciation per year historically?
Appreciation, it's,
It's 3 to 4%.
yeah, I was just
So we'll do 4%. Okay, so 4% per year.
saying it's inflation.
So this is what's nuts. If 2008 wouldn't have happened in 2020, this is what happened. In 2020, we just caught up to the home prices that we would have been at had 2008 not happened. On a 4% appreciation over time. So everyone's like, the prices are too high. It's like, actually, we're right in line where we should have been. The past 3 years has been wild because depending in your neighborhood, like some houses appreciated like 40% in 2 years.
Yeah.
I would have never told you that was gonna happen. There's no way for me to know. What I do know is that if you don't own a house, you don't get the 40% appreciation. I've never saw anybody that was pissed off because they owned real estate and then prices went up. I only hear about people that haven't taken the time to buy one. So that's the graph that I draw. What was your question?
Something,
I know, and I felt like it was a good one.
but that was really good, so it totally took me off track.
So what was the graph
It
that I
was
draw
how
to
the
show that?
prices of houses, how do you show them the price of?
Oh,
houses?
yeah.
yeah.
So just know this stat,
Okay,
okay? And the line that I draw for them. And if you go to my office, you'll literally see we have a whiteboard. I just draw stuff all the time. Is this one. Because what they think happens is prices rise, then they fall, then they rise, then they fall. Because like that's an economic cycle, which is accurate. That's how economies work, up and down, up and down, up and down. Except for the past 4 years, we're like pumping caffeine into it. But so what actually happens is this.
Right.
And so most of the time, just that illustration, because at some point, the height, when it was so high and too expensive to buy, will be the bottom of another cycle. And there's a lot of money that's made
in between there.
in between here and there. But most of the time, when you break it down from it, let's call this a housing cycle. And then let's call this just an economic cycle. I don't even remember where I got that, but I didn't make it up. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
I felt like it was a good one.
Community, like development also plays into,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, our area is growing at like super fast rates, we all know, so.
I mean, I'm from Ozark and their entire neighborhoods, I left 7 years ago for the Marine Corps and I just got back and half of that city is built in that 7 years, so.
Yeah,
This is wild.
and
It's insane.
like, there's no land, like in between Sunshine and Bypass to Republic, there's no land left.
Yeah,
There's no
so,
land north.
so with
The
that,
people that want land north, and there is none.
with all of these things being said, if I'm the client and I'm asking you guys that, is it realistic to think the prices are gonna go down in Springfield because there's no land?
No.
We can't build anymore in Springfield. We've built all that we can build, so it's only gonna go up. It's just economics.
What is that like crazy quote that we hear all the time, like buy land now because they're not making more of it?
Yeah, yeah. but
I mean,
buy real estate.
I mean, it's just a basic concept, really,
is
but I
fine.
mean,
Just don't buy like
we're
Lebanon.
literally,
Like, what do you want?
we're literally seeing it before our eyes, though.
Yeah, it's always happening.
And especially like people can get so much more for their money here, and I don't think that's ever going to change either. We're always gonna have that as an advantage, that
Yeah.
our median sales price does not look like median sales price on east or west coast.
Well, it's like, well, it's been affordable to live here. And so like, we've got people, if you have clients that you're working with that are relocating here, they're like, this place is sick. We love it here. If you're working with people that have been here for a long time, they're like, this is stupid. I hate this. And it's like, then move to Billings, because you can afford Billings right now. Or move to Marshfield, or move, like, to do what you want to do, you're gonna have to be out there. And you better get there before we do. Because if we beat you there, you're gonna go further out. And then at some point, where are you gonna go? Really fired up.
But like Billings and Republic, or even Rogersville right now, they are just
Rogersville has the highest
It's
average sales price out of any community.
loading.
So we're at 270, Rogersville is like 317 right now. What the hell?
Is it because of the new builds?
I think it's new builds and I think there's land still.
There is.
Right. So you can still buy like 20 acres for, like, one just hit the market this morning. Looks, I sent it to my wife, I was like, let's go. She's like, I'm moving again. I'm fine. But it's like 515 or 525 for 20 acres
Oh my
in a 2,400 square foot house. It's gonna sell for like 700.
Yeah.
More than
I
likely.
think I know exactly.
That sounds like the
Yeah.
72 sold thing.
It is, but when you go out there, it's dated. It's like, okay, so you
It's
can
like
still get in
nothing.
there because the comps support that price. They're not gonna support that price for long. Because if someone comes in, so here's what a cash buyer does. This is why this is crazy. You're gonna run comps and you're gonna say, hey, this is the price. The numbers dictate this. And this is why we switched over to with our sellers as saying, okay, hey, look. You want to list at 500 and I think it's worth 415? We'll do it in case you're right. I want to be wrong. Because this is why. You could literally like a year ago, how long have you been in?
Almost a year, not
Okay.
quite.
So right about where you started, this is nuts. You could list a house and then 2 houses would come on the market, get a cash offer that would pay higher, they would close faster because they're cash, there's no financing. The property that the buyers were about to close on, because if there's financing, it takes 30 to 45 days. If it's cash, it takes, let's call it 3 to 15 days, okay? You've got 2 new comps. Before yours even closed. And so we've got cash buyers coming here like crazy. Someone's like, yeah, people are relocating here. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a good thing because they're moving the market. But like now all of a sudden that $300,000 house that you listed correctly is worth 350 because 2 cash buyers coming in from out of town had the funds and said, this is a steal where I'm from. And this is where it's like, buy houses, please, for the love of God, because if you're the guy that just bought that house, you just gained $50,000 in equity like that. Yeah. Congratulations. But if you're not buying real estate, you don't get you get none of that. Okay. Economic factors, we've kind of been talking about this. What's the growth rate of your community? What government, changes have the government's made? So like on this, I don't really pay attention to anything here. This is where I talk about the blinders. So I do know that unemployment is historically low right now based off of the numbers. So if you go to family reunion, that was tough, or mega camp, they go through these numbers on at a national scale and they break them down very well. I try and go every year so that I can hear them talk about the reports because it lasts for a year. Employment as of like February was historically low. So like I have business owners. Yeah, it's like 3.1, 3.2, like it's super low. So when everyone's like, we can't keep anybody hired. Okay, that's interesting. Very curious. Let's see here. Okay, neighborhood numbers, and this is where we'll kind of dial in. Who are your clients? What do they do? What do your clients do?
First time home buyers.
First time home buyers, have you bought a house before?
What was that?
Do you own a house? Have you bought one house
I have
before?
not.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense, first time home buyers, because that's kind of where you're at. Okay, what do you do for fun? Or what restaurants do you frequent?
Mexicans.
Mexican restaurants?
Oh,
Okay, all right. Health facilities, neighborhood attractions, does anybody here go to a local bar? Okay. If you're involved in those areas, you can dominate that space so quickly because you're already in it. So when we talk about being like the real estate resource, your local economist of choice, or whatever it is, sometimes that means this is the best beer this bar has. The new guy comes in, this is the greatest beer, this is my favorite cigar shop, this is what we do, because you're gonna sell houses to people that do like the same things you do as fast as possible. Like, those are the people that you'll connect with the most. So whatever's near you or that you frequent a lot, be there and be an agent and be really intentional there. So like the Vineyard in Ozark, does anybody know?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I'm in that cigar lounge like 1 or 2 nights a week. I freaking love it over there. I picked up 6 clients from there because they like cigars. Well, I like cigars, so we'll talk about cigars. And so what do you do? Oh, I live 15 minutes away. I sell real estate, and they're like, oh God, it's crazy. We're like, well, what do you mean when you say crazy? Because now I know the numbers. Then when you know the numbers, they're like, oh, this guy knows his stuff. And you're like, I just read a report every month. And then you just have to get them to know, like, and trust you. Know, liking, and trusting has nothing to do with competency. I tried to say that at the beginning. I don't think I did a really good job at it.
Wait, what'd you say?
Them knowing, liking, and trusting you has nothing to do with you being competent. I know people that use really bad agents all the time. They know they're bad agents, but they really like them. It overrides it every single time. So by being competent and then being places where you can find them and that they know, like, and trust you, then you just rock and roll. That doesn't mean don't lead generate. I did not just say don't lead generate. I just said maybe you can lead generate in ways that you already like. So just go to those places and be a staple there. And like when I first started, coffee appointments were the thing that I did. So I went to 3 coffee joints a week, and I would have 3 or 4 coffees with different people at the same places. When you're there for a long time, you begin to know the staff because the staff wants to take time to know you because you're there all the time. And then when you walk in and then everyone knows you already, the person that comes in with you, they're like, oh, this guy's great. And you're like, yeah, I just drink a lot of coffee. I'm not gonna tell you that, but I just drink a lot of coffee. So all of these things come down into knowing your market. And I want to just take a second. This is just knowing the market. This is not connecting with the market. Okay, this is just knowing the things. This is not doing the stuff that actually makes you connect with somebody. This is your takeaway that you said. This is just you learning and understanding what's around you and what's happening. If you don't do anything with this stuff, I failed you today. Any ahas so far?
Oh my gosh, how many are there not?
Sweet.
Everything you've
I wrote
said.
everything down that you've said.
Awesome.
I'm afraid to blink so I don't miss it.
Right?
Literally, like this has been the most informative. Yeah.
I think my favorite day so far, and every day's been my favorite day,
I know.
so, you know.
There's a lot of people in this building that will blow your mind. Like,
Well, you explaining those graphs,
Yes,
oh,
that, I've looked at those and I'm like, I don't even know what this means.
yes.
and if you guys like, because my phone number is right here, if you email Landon, you'll get those every month, around the 5th or the 7th or something like that. If you don't understand it, snap a screenshot, send it to me. What does this mean? Now, I'm not just going to tell you what it means, so just a heads up, because this annoys the hell out of my team sometimes. I want to make sure that you understand what it's trying to imply or do. I don't just want to tell you how to regurgitated number, I guess. That's a-
Okay, stupid question, who's Landon?
He's upstairs next to the.
Landon is the, so you've got like Shannon's
But
office.
what is it, what is his job?
He is the market center administrator, so he's
Market
the
center administrator, okay.
head guy in charge.
So what exactly are we supposed to ask him? Market
Good question,
dynamics?
because I'm gonna say that, can I get the broker metric reports
or
every month?
metric reports?
Mhm. Do you guys need to go to the bathroom?
I do.
No,
Okay,
I'm
we
like,
totally just.
I wanna keep.
But I don't want you to, I don't.
I know, if we do, you can't talk.
I won't say a thing, you're good.
You can ask everybody about that personal stuff, but no real estate.
Someone-
Not promising it's so bad.
No worries.
I'm a terrible stuff.
What have I touched on so far? Market. Okey dokey.
Excited to hear what tools you're using to figure out
Figure out which.
just, I guess a good comps and then also like what would maybe be a good investment.
So what fun questions.
What was the type of market? What was that bullet point, like in the little web there? Is that like whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or?
I don't know, I had a phone call, so.
What was the, does anybody remember the first wicket?
Let's see.
Like, what was the type of market? I'm sorry, I was
Okay.
late.
Yeah.
What was that wicket, I guess?
Like types of markets,
Is it, are you just talking about like buyer, seller?
buyer, seller, balance.
Oh,
Balance to the third one, it's the middle. It
Gotcha.
doesn't exist really.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's there for, by the time that you realize it happened, it's already gone.
I know, I was getting.
Because all of our numbers are a month behind.
The other day.
So on average, I think it's like a month and a half. So by the time you're looking at it, you're like, all right, well, there it went.
Like, are you from around here?
Yeah, I moved here in 2001. I was from Arkansas before, 2001 to now. I mean, I'm pretty much
Where'd you go to
good.
school?
Parkview, Carver.
Okay.
Part of that football team that didn't win a game for 6 years, so I got really good at losing. That's a true story.
Hey, my senior year, we won one single game at Ozark, so I mean.
It's freaking brutal, man. When the band's saying like, do we have to be here? Like, this is tough.
Hey, I watched some of those games.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, of course you do.
Hey, I went to a school that we didn't even have football, so.
Oh, this is brutal.
Where did you go to school?
I know by the end of the-
Oh, my gosh.
But that really good player.
There was sometimes where we didn't have
in the
enough
NFL
people
now?
that wanted to play baseball.
Which one?
We didn't have the team.
I cannot imagine.
Is it about Dorial Greenback?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not there.
Yeah.
He's not in the
Not
NFL.
anymore.
No, he
He smoked
he
way too
flopped.
much
Was that, was that,
He went to-
playing against you guys,
Yeah,
like your
Hillcrest?
senior year? Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched
played against
that
him when
game.
He was a freaking freshman, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going. There's no shot.
Yeah.
He was amazing though.
You see a real guy, you're like, wow, that's a guy, and you're like,
I'm
oh.
here, and I'm fine with it. I'm just gonna be here for the rest of my life, and it's gonna be okay.
I watched my buddy play Chaminade, our senior year,
Mhm.
and Jason Tatum played for him. My buddy's 6'5" and sat there and tried to take a charge, and he just straight vertical jumped him and dunked it on him. I was like, oh. So that's what Nathalie looks like, jeez.
No, I know. You guys ready for the next one?
Ready or not, here we go.
Here we go. Really just want. Hey. Okay, so building your expertise, okay, yes, so learn your market, learn your clientele, learn. Does it say learn to individuals? Listen, thank you. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. What in the world? Okay, so to learn the market, this is kind of what we just talked about. If you looked at the reports that we just talked about, and then you show up to team meeting, Mike and Rachel are trying to do a really good job of explaining what's happening.
So good.
Show up to them because they're awesome. Sometimes it's a little hit and miss, but be there for the lore because that is stuff that you can take with you into your day-to-day. It's really, really helpful. Know your business. Notice changes over time in your personal business. Okay, I'm not gonna, we've got an hour and a half, but where we're about to go into the content, the core belief that I have is that the only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. Okay? Because if you feel good about yourself when you're by yourself, you're always going to be fine in business. Okay? So if I say some things that don't feel congruent or that don't make sense, please ask, because then I can go back and show you how I got there. But so notice changes over your time in your business. The whole point in this is if you don't know how much money you're making, you don't know how long you can be in business. Does that make sense? If you don't know how much money you're spending every month, you don't know how much money you need to make. And most people are completely fine with the thought and the idea of I'm doing okay. And that's just not good enough. It takes 2 to 3 hours a month to make sure that you've got enough money to continue playing the real estate game. And I believe there's a whole other class that we can do on that, just goodness. But you have to know how much money you're bringing in and how much money is going out. Because if all of a sudden your business changes, like the market shifts, and you need to know what expenses you can cut, which ones you can't. Like you're running a business, and I want everybody to understand that. You've got to treat it like a business, otherwise it will run you around. Okay, who are the buyers, who are the sellers? Does this market benefit your clients, and does this market put your clients at risk? Unless you have niched down and you know exactly who your clients are. You have a page 24.
Oh, okay. Wait, can you go back a slide for just a second?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody ready? What's the first thing that you need to do before you can learn your clientele?
Get a clientele.
Yeah, you gotta know how to find them, which they're gonna talk about in detail. So you need to know who they are, what they do, and generally what do they like. And so if you already know, I'm gonna work with first-time home buyers, everything that you do should be geared towards first-time home buyers. Always. If you don't have a niche, or if you're not sure who it's gonna be, you really just need to understand people. I've always defaulted to the people side because not everybody wants to invest in real estate. I don't always want to work with investors because they're kind of the worst clients that exist. And I like luxury deals. I like first-time home buyer. I like all of them. But for me, it really dials into who's at the places that I like going to, because those are the people that I want to help. Because I've got stuff in common with them. So if you don't know your patterns, if you don't know where you go, where you get your coffee from, what you do on the weekends, just try and be present and think about those things as you're going about the day. And then try and figure out what clients you could find at those places. Okay. Does this market benefit your clients? Is like, I hate these two questions because does the market benefit your clients? Are you a buyer? Like if you got a buyer right now, is this market really good for your clients? No, it's awful. It's awful. Should they buy a house though,
Depends.
Probably, maybe not.
right? Does the market put your clients at risk? Every single time. Always, 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 always. So the questions are more so, to kind of go back to what we were just talking about. Is, can you explain the risks that your clients have? And can you educate them enough so that they can make the decision? And are you able to get to actually understand their needs and wants so you can help them realize, is this market going to benefit you or not? Because probably a good half of the sellers that I helped last year, that my team helped last year, was 30 to 40, was the age range between 30 and 40. Most of them had debt that they wanted to pay off. And so the home appreciated a ton. You need 5% down, let's put 5% down over here on a manageable mortgage payment, and let's pay off the rest of your debt. Did that market benefit my clients? Absolutely. Is there any way to know if the market is going to benefit your clients or not if you don't know their actual needs and wants? It's impossible to do. It's impossible to do. And that's just asking questions. And if you don't understand, ask the question. Like, it is so wild. There was they said, hey, we want 5 acres. This blew my mind. I was so frustrated at the appointment and I can just feel it again. They're like, oh, we want 5 acres because we don't want to have any neighbors. We want to be in the middle of the 5 acres. I was like, there's like no houses like that because the homes are always on one side of the, like, it doesn't, I'll try my best to find it. And they sent me a house that had a privacy fence. And it was on like 0.25 of an acre. I was like, what the hell? Like, I've been over here looking for this thing and then you send me this thing? They're like, yeah. Why did you? This is not 5 acres. And their response was, and there's so many different avenues this could go. Well, we really just want the privacy. We don't want people to be able to see what we're doing. All the other houses were far enough away that they couldn't see into the yard over the privacy fence. Okay. That's infuriating because I could have found, I've seen 50 of these. If I would have asked the right questions, I would have been able to figure out what you needed. And so when they say, I want 5 acres, great. What about 5 acres is interesting to you? Why do you want 5 acres? Because we just like space. Cool. What about space do you want? Like, you gotta go until they hit a spot where they tell you and you're like, there it is. Because then it opens up the market. And then you can actually find the stuff that they need.
You gotta scuba dive.
Yeah, I know you really. This is a really good example of why I don't like working with people that won't trust me. Like, if I'm gonna have to beat my head against a wall to find the thing for you that you want, and you're not gonna tell me what that is, I'm gonna go home, I'm not gonna like you, you're not gonna like me, like, I'm not gonna wanna work with you again, and you're not gonna wanna work with me again. Ugh. Or you can just tell me what you want. Like, I know pretty much of most of my clients, if they have a financial picture, I know it, and I know where they wanna go. Because sometimes the thing that makes the most sense is, I wanna live in Southern Hills. I'm like, cool, you make 20 grand a year. That is not gonna happen yet. But if we can get you into a $200,000 house, which that's not how the math works, you can live there for 3 years. And then because I will stay in touch with you. And that's my whole job is to stay in touch with you. And so when your house is worth enough that you can buy in Southern Hills, I'll call you. Then you can move to Southern Hills. That's connecting with your market. Actually going in and figuring out what they need. But the problem is you can only do that with so many people. And then you really have to systematize stuff because it gets out of control real fast. That makes sense? Okay. Is there a question?
No, I
No,
said
we're
thank
just-
goodness for
okay.
command.
100%. If you're not using command, use command. Dear Lord, I did not, for the first 4 years, I had names and numbers scattered everywhere. We sold 250 homes in the last 2 years and we were not using a CRM. Don't do that.
Wow.
Yeah,
How?
we're sued by the seat of our pants and it's been awful. Just don't do it.
You'll not say because of it.
I have. It's like a little, I didn't know this until there was like a photo of him. I was like, yeah, so I was like, am I balding? She's like, yeah, there's a little spot right here. I was like, what? I was like, it's been there for a while. This guy's rude.
That's good.
Why am I just not finding out about it? This is so good. Okay, so listening to individuals, this is my favorite thing to do, and it is fun, and it gets stuff done. If you need money now, go do this thing. Take a grassroots approach, learn where your sphere gets its information and be present. Go to the places that you like to go to and be a real estate agent. It is your job to be an agent. So if you like wine, go there, be into wine and real estate. And then talk to them. Hey, where are you going? What are you doing? Like, you just talk to them and ask questions. And then learn where your sphere gets its information. This one is wildly, wildly helpful. Because if you find out, you're like, oh yeah, the market's crashing. You're like, oh, where'd you hear about that? Oh, I saw it online. Yeah, where though? So what you might find is that their algorithm is sending them a bunch of Inman articles that says that everything is crashing. Cool. And then you can say, don't listen to that. I'll send you this instead. Most of the time, they'll go, oh, that's really cool. Okay. This is the best, easiest thing to do. Go talk to people about everything. Kids at softball games, you're a softball, mom, dad, and realtor. What's going on in your neighborhood? Like, you're a real estate agent. You're allowed to be interested in real estate. What's it like in Southern Hills? What's it like in Waterford? Because I don't live there. Because a lot of people moving in, a lot of people moving out. Get them talking. Yeah, we are getting, there's a lot of renters. Oh God, they're the worst. Okay, so then what do you guys thinking about moving? Maybe. Cool. Care if I stay in touch with you while you're trying to figure that out? Sure. Like I've only got like 2 no's. I get a lot of, man, I don't care. Cool, let's need your name, phone number, email address. All right. If I call somebody on the phone that I don't know, that I not have any rapport with, it's a hang up every time. I hate that. But if I'm having a cigar and it's like, hey, I live in Waterford. Cool, what do you like about Waterford? Oh, cool. Well, no, you can't don't follow me. I've been using the same agent for 50 years. Dude, great. I don't use that agent. That's actually awesome.
They're probably about to retire. Or they
Yeah.
should be.
Maybe.
They should be.
Please don't take the headshot.
Please tell them to update their contract.
Yeah. And the third one here is be present. Let's see, reviews may record it right. I have no idea. Jacqueline, I have no idea. I bet it is though.
Is it recorded out there?
Yeah, and then upload to YouTube.
And it'll be uploaded tomorrow.
Yes, and it will be uploaded tomorrow, if you couldn't hear that. This is the most important piece, and this is where it starts getting very relationship, not on numbers. But remember, your numbers are your relationships, so you gotta track them. You have to be present.
How do you track those numbers? Like,
What do you mean?
I don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah.
are you tracking how many people you're talking to at the end of the day? You're like,
100%. I wish I could show you the stack of notebooks. My wife just made me throw them all out. I would literally go have a cigar and then have a notebook in my car. And this was before I realized that Apple iPhone has notes on it, which is stupid. I was like, oh, I could have just jotted it down. So right now I use Todoist. It's a free app.
Yeah.
And so when I'm sitting down, if I need to do something or if there's something that was like worthwhile from that, I'll notate it in the app. So you can notate it in your notebook, you can whatever it is, but after an appointment or even a coffee meeting, I would get in my car and I would check it. Like I can remember his name's Aaron, not with an E, with an A.
So I get a Aaron all the time.
As my being Blake, it is wild the amount of people just come in cold and like, Balake. I'm like, dude,
Balake.
I don't even know you, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you trying to buy a house? Because I don't know you then. But the, you just notate it down. So like they got a new dog or they wanted to get a dog. And this is where this grassroots approach really is really helpful. Because, I'm digressing again. When your job is to provide perspective when you're in the transaction. Okay, so when they are actually have a need, you need to be the professional and you need to take care of it and you've got to get it handled. That's your job. When they don't have a need, You need to be in relationship with them, which doesn't mean talk to them about real estate 90 times a year. Right? Because they don't need you to do that. What they want you to do is make sure that they know that you care. And so I remember writing down in a notebook, they want to get a new puppy. I moved it to my other notebook. That's what I did at the time. It made no sense. Efficiency was not the name of my game. And then I had a friend that posted on Facebook, hey, we want to get this dog, or we're trying to give this dog away. Our landlord won't let us have it anymore. And it was the dog. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. So I took the screenshot, sent it to my buddy Aaron. He's like, dude, yeah, for sure. That's incredible. How did you know? I was like, well, 6 months ago when we talked, you said you guys were looking to get a dog. Well, it wasn't 6 months. It was like, I think it was weeks. I don't know. This is 3 or 4 years ago. That's how that happens. And so Command, you can do that. You can call them and then you can notate what you talked about in it. And then before you call them again, check your notes. So that you
So you
don't.
gotta take the time to access your Command.
And so for me, I will not, Andrew, who's my favorite person in the world, because I will send him just a shit show of like notes. Like, here's this for you. Will you please put it in Command? And he puts it in Command. It's awesome. And then when I log in to check it, it's like, this is what we talked about. This is how long ago it was. And I'm like, this is so cool. So if you're organized, like you're taking notes like crazy, which is awesome, and you wanted to fill in all the blanks, no, like you're going to be served really, really well for that. So just go into Command, notate what you talked about. And then so like your quarterly call plans that you're doing, like, so you need to reach out to them or call them or text them once per quarter. Like that's the easiest one to get started on doing. Talk about what you talked about last time. Hey, you said you guys wanted to go see the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Did you guys ever get around to seeing that? Because they don't need you to be in real estate mode all the time. They need you to be in relationship with them. Okay? The only way that you can know what notes to take is if you're present during those times. Because if you're not present, you can't find a real estate need for them that they don't know that they have if you're not paying attention. Like I've got 3 clients that hate the S&P 500, so they've been putting their money in stocks and securities. And then my wife and I, we have an Airbnb and we have 7 duplexes. So like we like investing in real estate. And he was like, dude, if I could get like a 5% return, that'd be great right now. I was like, yeah, I'll pull it out. I'll send you a deal and you like, just do this. And then I explained to him how real estate investing works. He's like, well, I don't want to manage the property. I'm like, well, if you're my client, I'll manage it for you. Like, you're still going to pay me, but like, you don't have to deal with it. He's like, well, that's okay. So now we have about 4 or 5 clients of mine that are starting to put money in real estate investing because it's outperforming every other investment that they have. Even right now, they were just upset with the investment that they had. Had I not been competent and present, I would have totally missed it. And it's not always there. Sometimes it's a dog and that is what it is. Sometimes it's a movie. Sometimes you're just listening to whatever's happening in their world and then notate it. Because 90 days for them, like you're gonna go, oh my gosh, I've got to follow up with them every 90 days. 90 days does not feel the same to them. It doesn't feel the same. Does that make sense?
Track of that, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not keeping track of that.
No, they're like, oh my God, he always reaches out. He reaches out to me like once a week. And you're like, nah, not really, like at all, actually. Okay, and then keep headlines in context. This is the framework that we were talking about earlier. You absolutely have to realize that context matters. Okay, so my team gets so annoyed with me, and so does Rachel Watson and probably the whole leadership team, because words matter to me a lot. Because if you say perception, you mean perspective. Someone else is going to interpret that a different way. So semantics are important, words are important, the words that you use are important. So is the context. Because you have to understand that everybody's context is different. If you're a 75-year-old man, 75-year-old man, there it is. What's happening? It might make a ton of sense for you to sell and get out of the game right now because prices are definitely high. If you're a 31-year-old that you just bought a house a year ago and you just want to sell it so you can have cash, it might not matter. So whatever news that they're consuming, they're filtering it through their own context, through their own perception. They don't actually care where the data came from. So for you guys, your whole goal is if you start seeing stuff that you just know is not true, or if you have friends that you hear are saying things that aren't true, don't call them out. Just like, hey, what do you mean? Like try and get in there and help educate and help them understand like the actual data and what's actually happening. That's that one. You pretty much talked a lot about that the first go around. Utilize resources. So we use Command. I use my network for all the off-market deals that I find. For running comps, it's always Flex. They want you to use the Command app, but you'll find if you're not sure the task that you need done, it doesn't matter which software you're using. Like the one that you need to use is the one that you're actually going to use. And so my admin is really good with Command. I'm really good with my Google Calendar. And I'm really good with my Todoist, which is just an app that I use. Those are the two things that I basically run out of because it makes sense. And then I use the Command app to tell me who I need to get in contact with this week. But it comes to my phone. Otherwise, I don't use it.
So on average, how many people do you come in contact or do you contact each week?
How many? Well, that's a hard question.
I know,
Because
because sometimes it feels daunting. I'm like, oh.
yeah, it is. Like it's like being in a relationship with a lot of people. I want to mute this because I know she's listening. It is really easy to door knock, hold open houses, and cold call. Like everyone gets hung up on that. It is way harder to be in a relationship with 300 people that actually want to send you business. That is hard work. So how many people do I reach out to a week? Probably 20.
Okay.
But how many that are actually just clients? It's probably 10. But I'm 5 years into it and it was way more back then. And it's slowly gotten less and less because, so I'm just gonna talk about referrals really fast. Everybody knows what your sphere of influence is, right? Okay, the whole point of your sphere of influence from a business standpoint, and I'm talking people in business again, because for me, they're very, very similar. So you have your SOI, which are the people that you know, right? And then I'm just gonna reverse the words, okay? Because words are important. Then you've got the influence of your sphere. So I've been very intentional about working with people that have influence with other people.
Okay.
So I only need to reach out to 10 people because the 10 people that I'm reaching out to have a network of people that know, like, and trust them a lot. So when they recommend me, it holds a lot of weight. It's taken me a long time, 5 years, actually longer than that, but to get to this. And all we're talking about here is referrals. That's what that is. Then passing me business is referrals. But so like my lending partners or title companies, I reach out to them and I see them too. So they're in my 20, but I don't really expect to get much business from them because I know 1,000 agents and it wouldn't be a fair expectation of me to have for them to give every agent that they know business. So probably 10 people that have a lot of influence. And I'm asking them straight because these people that I'm reaching out to, like, help me build my business. Like, who do you know that I need to get in touch with? Real estate need or no real estate need? Did that make sense?
Yeah. Which kind of matches what we were just talking about with this morning during training, was 2 a day.
So that's what, 10 a week?
Too new.
Yeah, 2
For us that are
but-
new, too new,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's,
new today, so that.
yeah, and remember that you're qualifying them too. Like I used my CRM completely backwards because I didn't want to work with people I didn't like. And until I wasn't on track to hit my goal. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. So you just need to be in front of more people. And you just have to be very clear on who you want to work with. And then the whole game is I just need to find more of those people. And then over time, like in the beginning, I worked with plenty of people that I was like, I need money now, let's go get it done. But over time, you're able to scale it back. Totally forgot where I was going there. It's just an influence of your sphere, yeah. But I mean, 2 a day, that's really easy.
That's doable.
Like, you know successful people in your world. The 2 a day, is that what it is?
Say what again?
What do you guys, what's?
2 new contacts a day.
Yeah.
Is what
That's awesome.
kind of went over this morning, so.
So with, like, and you can get those contacts from Walmart. You can get those contacts from wherever. But if you know influential people that like you, you need to call and say, I need 2 people that I need to connect with this week. Who are they?
So how would you call them? Cause you're like, you know this influential person.
Uh-huh.
What do you say when you call them? That's where I get hung up on.
Yeah. What do you mean?
So you're an influential person,
Mhm.
okay? I call you and I'm like, hey, give me 2 people
You know
that I
each
need
other,
to,
right?
yeah, or let's say he's the influential person.
Okay.
So,
Me?
yeah, you're super influential.
Nice.
Hey,
You nailed
hey,
it.
dude, I need 2 people.
Right.
Can you give me 2 people that I can connect with? So
So-
he gives me 2 people.
Yeah.
Now, you're one of the people.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna call you. What in the Sam hell am I gonna say to you?
Hey,
Because
got
I
your
don't know
number
you.
From so-and-so, just want to reach out. Is there any time we could meet? I'd love, get to know you, see what your needs are, see what you're thinking about doing. Right?
Just keep it
And if they're
really,
not, just ask permission to stay in touch with them. And then you set up your smart plans to send emails, texts, a quarterly call.
So you're not connecting them and being like, hey, what are your real estate needs? I wanna meet with you.
Okay, I see the question.
See what I'm saying? Cause I'm like,
Yeah, I want to learn something from them. I do, I want to know.
I like that, cause I can call somebody and be like, dude, I wanna learn. Teach me something I don't know. I'm game for that. But to call them, I'm like,
Yeah, so this is a
I'm
fun,
stuck.
this is a fun thing. So the thing the issue that you're having, it sounds like it's an unfair ask. So this is something that's not, I think this is so fun. When new agents come in, they're like, who do you know that I need to know that wants to buy or sell? You just met them a week ago. I don't know you.
Right,
And-
and I'm not doing it, and I haven't done it, but I'm like,
Now, that being said, if you need money now, it sucks and you've gotta just keep doing it to find the person that will.
Right. Also, if you know the person, use them to bridge. Hey, can you guys get us together for a lunch?
Literally
On
just
me.
left lunch with somebody I knew, introducing me to an investor that I'm probably gonna work with later on. That I've never met the guy, but we kind of knew of each other, and so we went to lunch together.
And just know you gotta provide value. But they're influential. And you are in certain avenues. But like, there's totally stuff to learn from them. And when you sit down, like, there's nothing wrong with saying like, I'm trying to make it in real estate. I called Jeff and I asked for 2 people that I needed to know, and you were one of the 2. Can we just connect?
how about your lunch?
Can I buy you lunch or coffee or 30 minutes?
cause that's where I'm at. I called all my sphere. I did 20 calls a
You
day.
need to call the
Like,
influence of yours.
Now I've gotta call the influence. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
it's daunting.
It's, just make sure it's a fair ask, and then you won't have any problem doing it.
Just be genuine.
Yeah. That's
And
the
don't,
hard part.
see, this is why you,
I mean, I
Into it,
can
trying
be
to get
genuine,
something
but
out
I
of it,
just
just
feel
go
like,
in.
what am I meeting them for?
ask them,
Just
But I think-
conversation.
just ask them that. This is, real estate is so, I love this so much.
All right, role play with me real fast,
Sure.
because I'm still like, my brain is
You're
not,
making it too hard.
Yeah,
probably,
so,
but I can't grasp it.
no, it's hard, it's so, just say, they put me in contact with you because they think very highly of you. I don't know you, but they do, and I trust them. Can we just meet up and get coffee?
I like that.
Stroke the ego.
Well, and it's true though. This is where when I say like, nothing matters more than how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. If you feel gross doing it, you won't continue to do it. I know this to be true.
But I like that, because that's authentic. I can do that,
Yeah, so just
but I couldn't.
boil it down and then just ask exactly what, don't you,
Don't come off salesy.
well, they have to know, like, and trust you. Has nothing to do with competence. So just always remember, they have to know, like, and trust you. It has nothing to do with competence. Okay, so when you call them, you can say, teach me stuff. Because the easiest answer in real estate, period, forever, is I don't know, but I'll find out. Because if they know, like, and trust you, they know you're gonna get it done. They're not concerned about you getting it done. They know you'll do it. That's why the people that you know currently are the easiest people to get business from.
And see, it has not been for me,
Hmm.
which is so weird.
That's interesting. Oh, I wanna dive into that, we won't.
I was gonna
Um,
say, yeah, mine's the same way.
Okay,
Even my own grandma.
Like my cousin who I talked to-
Agent, so,
okay.
yeah.
Has she been using the same agent for a long time?
Nope.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
interesting.
I know.
My best friend was my
Multiple
cousin.
times.
Yeah. Mm,
She just up and used somebody else and I was like,
yeah.
My best
Well,
we
friend
talked
told me right
every
now.
day.
Yeah, did she know that you were an agent?
Yes.
Well, I know, but did she know that you're an agent? Not should she know that you're an agent?
No, we talk about it constantly. Cause she owns a
That's wild.
resort in Lambie. I know, and I'm like, you big jerk face. But.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe the Lord's teaching me something to be more about the people, like,
Yeah.
to call her, because I haven't talked to her, because I've just been like,
Sure.
it's just offended me. But I need to care more about her than I did the transaction.
1000%.
And
It's
obviously I
hard.
cared more about the transaction. Well, it hurt.
It's so hard because, so for them, it's a transaction. I'm doing what's best for the business.
Right,
For you in the beginning and for me in the beginning, it's personal.
yeah,
Because what am I doing wrong? Why don't you want to use me?
yeah,
That's not their frame. Most of the time, if you're, this is probably what your grandma's thinking, and I'm assuming here.
Mixed business.
I don't want to mix business and family.
and a lot of people think that,
And a lot of people believe that. And in some instances, that's right.
yeah.
And so they're actually protecting the relationship, which seems odd.
Especially if you're close to that person.
Yeah. Too, and you might
Yeah.
find that
If
she
you're
is just
really close to
protecting your
them, you don't want
relationship.
like those business
I don't know
feelings.
if I can.
What's hard?
Because the second you say
Yeah, no,
something
I
that they
don't think
disagree
I
with,
call her,
they're
I
like,
think the Lord didn't like you to call
"What?
her.
Yeah.
I thought you were on my side, you know, it's
I
like.
know, I'm going to. and be like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think anybody in
Because I
real
think
estate will tell you, working with family is awful. And it's, there was something said yesterday about like, you gotta take your emotion out of it. And I think with family or close friends, it's hard, it's impossible to take the emotion out of it. So that's why those transactions are always
I think
harder.
that's when you just gotta be real with them. You just gotta be real with them and say, well, for me and for what you need to be doing too, we need to look at facts, not our emotions. Like, we really wanted that house. Well, can you pay to have that house? Are you gonna pay cash for whatever, how much more of a markup? Is it worth it? And then if it's not, then like, okay, then let's take the emotions out of it and let's think logically. But
So
that's-
just really fast, there's absolutely no way that a client can take the emotions out of it.
Right.
And I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but when we're talking about, like, it is always an emotional thing.
Yeah,
Always and forever and always and always. What you're trying to do is get them to a logical state momentarily, and then it will switch back to emotions. But if you get them into a logical state, so like if you're trying to figure out, if there's multiple offers and they're trying to get as high as they need to go, and they're like, we'll do whatever we have to do. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't win this at all costs. So this is like the script my team and I use all the time. At what price, if you lose out, will you not care that you lost? Because that's your point. Like, that's the highest you want to go. Because if somebody beats you, then great, they beat you. But you don't care. Because they took the time to get out of their emotional state and logically look at it and be like, no, we don't want to have a $2,000 a month house payment.
How did you phrase that? At what point? Or
Yeah,
at what
it's so-
price?
are you okay with
Yeah,
losing?
it's like we've said it so much that it's hard to.
What price?
Yeah. At what price are you, at what price are you willing to lose this house, basically?
Okay.
Basically, at what point are they gonna not feel guilty that they did?
Yeah, like
or
if
not guilty?
somebody outbids you at this price, you're gonna be like, good for them.
Yeah, you're done.
And then but even then it's right back to the
Right.
emotions. Ugh, and you're like, okay, but at least we know this now. For sure. That's all the content. So what I'm supposed to do is sit down here and then have you guys do this, and I know she's listening. But one more, let's see, what did we not talk about here? Using the tools, it's the ones that you're actually gonna use. If you're not using anything, listen to Shanna, use the tools that she's, like, use command, even if it's at a very, very easy level. Or not easy. If it seems silly now, it doesn't seem silly at 300 people.
Yeah.
That's a lesson that I learned. At 5, you're like, this is overkill. At 150, you're like, yeah, it's starting to make more sense. At 300, you're like, please, love God, I need it. Focus on the important things. And this is the 80-20. The only thing that you need to be doing all the time is lead generation. Literally nothing else matters. Because otherwise you're gonna be in this weird cycle. Most agents, and you will do this, I still do this. I'm assuming Elise does this. You're gonna get really busy, and you're gonna stop lead generating, you're gonna have a lot of money, and you're gonna stop lead generating because you're servicing the business you have, and then you're gonna go down. And then you're gonna go, crap, I gotta lead generate again, because you stopped. And so it's gonna give you this.
Is there a way to do that to where you don't go down? Is it, you
It's
have
lead
to
generate every day.
so take an hour, 2 hours, if that's my
3 hours is what they recommend.
3, okay.
But if you do that every single day and you're always looking for people, you're gonna be fine. But those are the only important things. There's like 5. I know Shannon's talked about them. I'd have to look them up. I'm really good at 3 of them. The other 2 I'm not so great at. Use tools, off-market deals. Your network is the best asset that you've got. So if you know that you're looking to buy off-market things, if friends have relatives that pass away, or if there's divorces, or if you see a rupture happening, there's a need there. And most of the time for them in that state, they don't want to do anything, they just want it to be done. And it's truly what they want. And they're willing to sacrifice money for speed and stuff like that.
How can I pay lawyers for like their divorce, like
Oh, God.
people that call it a divorce consultation?
You want to talk about an emotional transaction.
gonna say, this is.
No, we're at a party afterwards.
Then time management calendar, this was online.
Fun clientele.
Lead generating every day is the hardest thing to do. Because at some point you're gonna get uncomfortable. And this is all I'll say here, and we're jumping right back into people, and then I wanna do scripts with you guys. You've got 2 triggers that are gonna happen. So this is a study, and it was an awesome study. How much, what percentage of your day are distractions from your phone? What do you think? What do you think it is?
I'd say 60.
I'd say it's
60?
gotta be, I'm gonna say 70%.
Okay,
Yeah, I was thinking like 75.
it's 10%.
Shut your mouth.
I swear it's 10%. This is crazy. Now,
Well, mine's 75.
well, so the solution, so there's 2 triggers. This is an external, so this is rings, dings, and notifications. And this actually was really, really helpful for me, because the things that I need on my to-doist, and my calendar. And I'll explain why. And I have well, those are the 2 listed, but the other 90% is an uncomfortable feeling that you have, and so you're seeking something else out. But the trigger isn't the phone. The trigger is a feeling that I don't want to do this, so I'm avoiding the thing. Where you go to is your phone, but the phone is not the thing that pulls you out of what you're doing. Okay? So the calendar, well, oh God. All right, here we go. So trying to think of the easiest way to say this, because it's probably not gonna be popular. In order to lead generate every day and consistently, most of the time it's a self-regulating or an emotional coping problem, not an environment problem. There's something uncomfortable. When I was the PC coach 2 years ago, it was, I don't want to be rejected. I hate rejection. Rejection is the thing that I hate. I don't want to call people because I don't want them. I want to know that they like me, and I don't actually care to call them because the thought of them liking me is enough. I don't want to do the thing. And it's like, God, if you really want to get good at real estate, you're going to have to call people. There's no way around that. And so there are just ways that you can go around it. So you hear everybody talk about calendars and time management and all these things. What I want everyone, I wish they understood the way that I do, is time management is pain management. Okay, so when you take the time to look into your calendar and structure your day, you're actually setting yourself up to follow the calendar and just go throughout the day. So this is something that I started doing 2 months ago, and we're getting into therapy stuff, but this is people. You gotta connect with people. So when you feel whatever, I don't want to make a phone call. What if they don't like me or whatever the thing is? Literally, get out your phone and notate the thing that you thought about. I think that they're not gonna like me, so I won't call. Then get on your calendar. This is gonna sound so dumb. And put 30 minutes or an hour on your calendar and just put time to worry. And then move on. You don't have to deal with it right now. When it comes to productivity and efficiency, we're always looking at what's the best way to line out the day, how do we do this, so on and so forth. The structure is really nice, and it allows us to continue to keep moving forward. So identify whatever's making you not want to move. Notate it somewhere, put time on your calendar so that you know you're gonna deal with it, because you're gonna follow your calendar and then deal with it then. What you'll find most of the time is when you get there, you don't actually care because you called the person anyway. And they're really happy to hear from you. And then all of a sudden, over time, you're like, oh shit, maybe people like me, and no rejection's not a problem. But put calendar, put time on. But this is the same thing for your quote of like knowing it and doing it. Like please don't, people in this room, please don't be this agent. You know you need to talk to people. You know that it's a people business. If you're not reaching out to people, there's a reason why, and do the work and figure it out so that you can stay in real estate. Otherwise, leave. You're just gonna cost yourself money. It is so sad to see, because real estate can literally change your life. And you can change other people's lives through real estate. And it's awesome. It's like my favorite. So that was calendar, which is time management for me. The only rule that I have is if I print on my calendar, I absolutely do it. Andrew is my admin. He has access to my calendar. My wife has access to my calendar, but she doesn't get to put things on my calendar. She has to clear with me first, because if it hits my calendar, my rule is I have to do it. So this is how serious I take it. She'd be like, hey, I have this today. I was like, give me access to your calendar and I'll view your calendar. But if you keep dropping things on my calendar and I start breaking my own rules, I'm not gonna follow my calendar, and I have to follow the calendar. Like every really big successful agent that you're gonna find in this building follows a calendar or follows some sort of system. But it's to that degree that they do it, because I'm not making any of this up. This is stuff that I've learned from being in this building for 4 years. Okay, we got 50 minutes. What do you guys want to talk about?
So was the interest rates, when you talked to her, did you tell her about your struggles? Was that mainly what your conversation was about?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where you lost her. You lost confidence in yourself.
And that's because I was in a different building. I wasn't, it's not like the building, the environment is nothing like what's here. So I was grappling with, because we were like we're really close.
Right.
And so just bouncing that off of her, well, my confidence, I think, totally was just like,
You gotta save your struggles for people that know what you're talking about.
Working with investors, are
You
you
know, other
looking
agents,
for
they wanna
deals
hear your
for them?
struggles, but as
Or
far
are
as
you-
like
I
future
know.
clients.
No, so
Or even people you know.
that's a good question. It's
always
tough
keep them
because
on.
we,
yeah.
as
I
a
know
real
that
estate
now.
team, everybody on my team
Yeah.
invests in real estate.
That's so good.
So we actually send out to other agents that aren't investing in real estate. Because it's like, if we find a really good deal, like I have some friends that own really big businesses and they have a lot of capital to deploy. And they're like, hey man, if you find, I'm like, dude, if I find that, I'm buying. And if you're working with a competent agent that has the funds to buy it, now if it comes across my desk and I can't afford it, I've got a list of people that I'll send it to. I'll put you on that list. But I'm not out looking for deals for you. Unless you're gonna be loyal to just me, and I wouldn't do that because I'm not gonna be finding deals for you. It's a full-time
I mean,
job.
they're few and far between, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. That's
A
not
lot of off market.
Yeah. So we talked about interest rates a second ago. Who's actually calling people?
Who's what?
Who's actually calling people?
Like, what do you mean calling people?
You call people you don't know. I'll say like lead generating, calling people you don't know or you do know,
Okay, yeah, cool.
but you're calling X amount of people per week, and that's what you're doing.
I do.
So what I went through is my contact list. My story's crazy, ridiculous, nutso for the last 15 years. So I've kind of, over that time, I've disconnected with some people, but I have a huge following, I guess. I don't really know if I want to say that or not, but so I've just reconnected to try and reconnecting, not say anything about real estate, just, hey, thinking of you today. How are you? What's going on? And so now I've done all of that. So now I've got to flip to the other side of it.
Oh, and you're taking notes of this, and bringing in command, right?
And
Like,
figuring
what's
out
going
why
on?
I'm insecure about calling them so I can deal with it and stay in the business.
That's the trick, right? So the answer to that is a script that you're comfortable just doing.
Mhm.
So what can we come up with that you guys will just do?
So I do open houses every week, sometimes 2 a week, just because you get your sphere of influence and you can only push so much before people start pushing back.
Sure.
And ignoring your text messages and ignoring your calls. So I'm always constantly bringing people in.
Yeah.
And that's what I use my open houses for. I get everybody's information.
Yeah.
You know, if they have an agent, okay, then, you know, I won't ever text them about anything for real estate.
So do you give them a checklist, or not a checklist, like a
Sign-in sheet?
sign-in sheet that
So-
gets them there?
No, I want to talk to you. I want to get your information. I don't want to leave it to where you leave it.
Yeah, how do you have time? Like,
What, between people?
mhm.
So I let everybody free roam around. And then I talk to you when you're done and I just bounce from person to person to person. And usually my first thing that I ask them is, what's your dream? If this wasn't it, what's your dream? I want to know what makes a house or breaks a house if you're in the market. If you're not in the market, well, what are we here for? What are we looking for? You guys just, you know, stuff like that.
What you like, what you didn't like, just.
Right.
So let's drive with that for a second. So
I love open houses because it's just that genuine connection.
Yeah.
You can, you have that face to face, like, I'd rather do that than phone calls all day long.
I would do anything besides open houses.
I love
Are you serious?
My wife
Still
hates it 'cause-
furniture. So like when you walk into a furniture store, what's the first thing you guys do? And I say you
Run
guys
from the
'cause you
person
work
that's in
me.
there.
I'm just looking.
Just looking, it's a fist and it's a hand in the face. The first couple open houses, they're like, I'm like, I hate this.
So I've been making homemade cookies and I'm like, hey, you want a cookie? And they're like, oh yeah, and it breaks that barrier down
Sure.
almost instantly.
Look, so there's two types of agents. You ready for this? And this is really good. Shanna's not showing you this. Shame on you, Shanna. So there's two types of agents, okay? Every agent that's been around a long time or is new wants to be agent one, which is I know I have enough people to give me enough money to hit my goals. Okay? That'd be great, wouldn't it?
It's unrealistic.
Work for me.
Oh, you suck.
I know. I'm just like, but dude, that has been such a problem because now what I'm doing is our goals are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, oh shit, I'm no longer a one. Because the number two is everybody else. You do not have enough people in your database that know, like, and trust you, or in your network to help you hit your goals. So the whole purpose of real estate is to move 2 to 1s.
So if we start at twos and stay at twos, then we're doing good.
If you started.
Because you started at ones.
Yeah, no, that's good though, because it's a really good question. So basically, if I wanted to, this is gonna sound dumb, I'm not gonna say that. If I wanted to make as much money as I'm making right now for the rest of my life, I could just keep doing what I'm doing. If I want to do more, I need to find more people. It's the same thing from somebody that's where I'm at to where you're at. This might be 15 people. You need that to be X amount of people, however many it is that are willing to support you. They're your raving fans. They're willing to give you business one way or the other, willing to refer you, willing to use you, whatever it is. This is open houses. This is cold calls. This is, you're finding people you don't know because you do not have enough people to get where you want to go because you've already gone through your sphere. The whole purpose in real estate is to move 2s to 1s because we like them and it's easier. When I got into real estate, I interviewed like 72 different agents because I was like, how did you stay? Like, I basically got a year, I got a car wreck, I got an insurance check. My wife was like, okay, you can do the real estate thing or you can fix your car, and you got a year. I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna do the real estate thing. So like I won rookie of the year with 2 mirrors hanging down and my back windows duct taped up. So when I say competence doesn't matter, if they know I can trust you, they will use you. Every agent that's been around for 15 years doesn't do open houses. They don't cold call. You ask them, like, it's just my sphere of influence. They just send me enough business. They've been around a long time.
That and the market also changed a lot of agents too.
Sure.
A lot of agents got really lazy when everything was easy.
There are always lazy agents in the market. Like, and you're still right. But like, the barrier to entry is wild. There were terrible agents 5 years ago when I started. 6 months and I was like, I shouldn't be better than these people. I'm just doing like that. It's awful. But they'd spent the time to move 2s to 1s. So if you have enough people in your world that want to support you to make 100K or whatever number you want to make, Don't do open houses. Do not cold call. Do client events, take them out. I mean, do anything with them. Forget everybody else and just focus on these people. If they can give you enough business. If they can't,
So how do you determine if they can give you enough business?
you ask them. Because they already know, like, and trust you. These people know, like, and trust you. These people don't. The process to convert them is literally making them know, like, and trust you. KLT. I just have Michael Jackson songs stuck in my head, so just that. And but then you have a relationship with them. This is where there's like a disconnect, and I don't know what it is, because it happens for me sometimes too. If you're in my world and you already told me I'm gonna support you, and you've sent me referrals, and you've your past clients of mine, and whatever the thing is, like, where was I going? If I don't follow up with you, I feel guilty. So like all these people that are gonna trust you and use you and say that they want to, I hate saying this because this is like really gross. If you're not willing to call these people, they're not your people. You just don't want to feel bad. Okay? The point is to move them to here. So when they get to a 1, you love calling them. I love calling my people. If I don't like calling you, I remove you from my database and I don't call you. I'm wishing I didn't do that because now I want more money so we can do more things. But I would view them as 2 separate things. So like if the concern is I don't know how to talk to people that I don't know, don't transfer that to people that you do know. Because you already know them. They want to hear from you. These people like it when you call them. These people don't, and they shouldn't because they don't know you. This one should make you anxious because it's weird. This one shouldn't. Does that make sense?
So we're basically creating anxiety that doesn't need to be there and calling our sphere.
And like, the part that's a bummer is the only solution is calling them. Like, they're gonna have to show you that they don't hate, like, they're gonna have to show you that they don't hate you. Like, and you're gonna be like, oh, what was I doing? I don't know. And then, or they'll send you a referral, like, you guys will hear this, you'll hear agents go like, yeah, I just thought they would never use me. So, but then they sent me somebody. It's like, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, but I haven't talked to them. It's like 6 months. And it's like, oh man, think about how much business you lost. Because you didn't follow up with them, because you didn't do your job. They did theirs. It's not their job to find people that have real estate needs. That's ours. But they found somebody and they sent it to you. They did their end of the deal, and we're not doing ours. So I get really fired up about this. So these are your people. You should love these people, and truly. So in your database, as you're break them down into 2 different types of people. People that you are excited to call and the people that you're not. And here's the deal. If you don't know these people, should you care what they think of you? Absolutely not. So if they ignore the text, it's tough. It's tough.
I've learned like in the last 2, I'm a people pleaser and I didn't even know it.
I'm in real estate.
Dang it.
We're surrounded by a lot of people pleasers. We love it. But this is the whole name of the game.
Which it's a good thing. It's just got its name.
So let's use 35 minutes to come up with a script or something that we will do. So if you run into somebody that you don't know, you know how to start the conversation. Or if you run into somebody that you do know, you know how to start a conversation. Because the goal is to start the conversation. The goal is to start the conversation, not make them out a real estate need. Does that make sense?
I can start any conversation, but finding their real estate need.
Sometimes there's nothing to find.
Okay, because I can start any relationship.
Just start the conversation, and if you find the real estate need, help them.
How do
You
you
don't find it
transition
in
that?
What do you mean?
Like, whenever you identify, okay, there might be a real estate need there.
Yeah. I just ask them. Yeah, so if I could solve this problem for you, are you open for me solving it? They're like, yeah, dude, for sure. Even these people are open to that.
Right.
For sure.
Because that's where, when it comes to closing from a lead to appointment.
Mhm.
That's what I'm struggling right now.
It's
It's,
hard.
it's,
So,
I guess,
That's not struggling.
Yeah.
getting off of the stupid script.
Yeah.
Cause like I've got like a couple scripts in my head,
mhm.
but it doesn't sound natural. Because whether or not like, cause I think I'm a pretty decently competent in conversation and confident person, but whenever it comes to like this stupid phone and I'm like on a conversation, I'm like talking to somebody and I'm like, yeah, Ford, what does that even stand for right now? Like, you know, but like, it's just transitioning from just like gabbing to gab to like actually getting into an appointment conversation.
Okay, this is literally my favorite thing,
Yeah.
because this is, I think this is literally what has made me as successful as I
And
am.
Brian does it so well, so it pisses me off even more. Brian Fisher.
Fisher?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that guy's a machine.
Yeah, so I'm like sitting there in the office, I'm like, yeah, all right, dude, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Elise-
I had just called this person 2 days
so
ago,
good at it.
fumbled the ball, and then I listened to him and I'm like, yeah, like I heard you and it sounded all right. And like, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I can't, like, I don't know what it is.
I feel like once I get them to say, yes, I do have a real estate need, then I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I just.
They're
freeze.
excited.
Like, okay, now what? I got you to say yes. Now
Just
what?
comment all over.
Like this. and your mouth can't talk. Like you're so excited you can't talk or something.
Let
Yeah.
me call you back. Who said that? I've done that so many times. Oh my gosh. Like, when my first like 10 clients, they're like, yeah, it'd be great. It's like, great. Hey, I'm in on a call. Yeah, they're gonna do it. Okay, so this right here, all right, I'm just gonna, just bear with me here, okay? But this, I think, makes a ton of sense. This is how conversations go. The script doesn't matter at all.
Right.
The topic that you're talking about matters. And you have to know what you're talking about. This is why I like this class so much. Okay, because if you're competent, you're good. Okay, so this is where 90% of the people, when they're like, I feel salesy and I hate it. It's like, great, stop telling them what to do. That's what this is. This is a power dynamic. Because if I'm telling you to do something and you disagree with me, we are now at odds. Whether I tell you that or not, we are now at odds. You will lose to these people every time. Even if you're right. So this is why I like semantics a lot. Because this is collaboration over here, okay? Collaboration. Okay. But this was explained to me and I really liked it. So when, two people get married, like two becomes one. Wrong. You both need to be individuals and you need to create a third thing, okay? Two become a third. The third thing is the relationship that you have with everybody. So what I'm trying to show here is the relationship that you have with somebody. I'm trying to actually make it a thing. Okay? Which this would be you saying like, hey, I got this problem. Can you fix it? I'm not sure. So you put it in here. And I go, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know. So I just leave it there. I don't touch it. I don't do anything with it because it doesn't matter. And Elise Riley is really good at this. She's very good at this. If I go and say, hey, could you do this for me? And then I put this in there and you go, yeah, I can do it for you. You can then pull this out and then you can do it for me, but it's your idea. If I look at you and say, do this for me. Nope. Nope. Not gonna do it. Or I'll do it for X amount of time and then I won't do it for a long time. So if you're talking to friends or family or anybody that you have relationships with and you're telling them things, you are losing. Always and forever, and you always will be. Instead, if you literally say, what do you think about blank? That's why your question at the open house is so good. What are you guys dreaming about? It's open-ended questions is all we're talking about. Oh, well, they start thinking about it. Now you're playing together. Could you do this? No, I don't really want to do that. Not a problem. You have a real estate need? No, we don't. I'm not going to force you to have one. Oh. Then you get commission?
Well, yeah, but I gotta sleep at night. I'm not gonna make you buy a house for the sake of making you buy a house. Oh, okay, I was expecting this. This is what we expect in sales. You go to a car dealership, okay, I'm gonna hold my ground, you're gonna do your thing, we're gonna negotiate. Well, let's do this. Let's just go back and forth. And so like, what's tough is over time, when you say yes and no to things, and it's yes and no to things. Hey, can you help me with this? No, but so-and-so might be able to. Oh, okay. That is really helpful for me. Or when you say to a client like, hey, I don't think this is a really good house for you because it's not checking your boxes. These are the things you said you wanted, and I don't see it there. You're at odds with them, but you're working together. Okay? And this is just the conversation piece. Now, this is how you do it. This is the actual application of, this is a, oh gosh, what is it? The trust triangle, I think. It's the Socrates thing. How lame is this? A trust triangle, are you kidding me? It's hilarious. So this is authenticity, which I heard somebody say be authentic, and I loved that earlier. This is empathy. And this is logic. That empathy is the thing that's gonna make you sell a lot of houses. Because, but does everybody understand the differences here? I can give you more examples of, like, who has kids in the room? Okay, go clean your room. Go get ready for bed. Hey,
But if I negotiate with them, they're instantly all about it.
this is negotiation. Collaboration is negotiation every time. This is not negotiation. Collaboration is. So just ask it open-endedly and watch what happens because it is crazy. It's crazy. So by asking open-ended question, it allows you to get here.
So can you give me, sorry, can you give me an example of a good, like, if I'm on the phone with a, I know Facebook leads are atrocious, but like say a Facebook lead, can you give me an example of asking an open-ended question that's going to like, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you like about that? What about that's important to you? Why is that important to you? Or what do you think? What do you think? The problem with Facebook leads, and this is where numbers once again reign supreme for me, is I think the conversion rate's like 1%.
Yeah, 1 to 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, it's gonna suck. They're not
That's what
open
I'm
to
cutting
it.
my teeth on right now.
Well, it's because it's this,
Yeah.
right? So because what we've done, and this is why I like marketing so much, is what we've done is we've said, hey, to get the thing that you want, I want you to, you have to do this. Give me your information. And we go, "Ugh. Okay, here's my information." Then we call and we're shocked because they're like, "Dude, I want to talk to you." And you're like, but you gave me your information. They're like, you made me. Oh, right. So like with that, it's just a time on task. You're looking for someone that actually has a need. You're looking for like low hanging fruit, if you will. Like you're looking for people that are ready now and have a need and ready to go. Or this is where Brian is incredible. Cool, I'm gonna follow up with you. No problem. And then you have a database of 30,000 people that you're following up with till the end of time.
Yeah.
Guy's a machine.
Yeah, I'm calling 20 people a day who have never answered their phone, but sometimes they do.
And that's the game you're playing there. That's not this game. And so just remember when you're talking to them, the best to have this conversation, but you can't create the need. Right, like if they don't have a need, they're not gonna answer or they're not gonna be receptive to whatever you have
Yeah,
to
the
say.
sphere calls are the easiest things in the world.
Yeah.
Because like I find joy in like picking it up and like, oh, hey, that's on my task list today. It's like to call these 20 people from my sphere.
Mhm.
That's easy. The part where I don't do well on the phones is when I have no idea who this person is.
Mhm.
And I think it's just a reps thing, I think at this point, like I need to do it more, but like, I just don't know
So this is gonna be unpopular, right? You actually didn't get permission to be in contact with them. You got their contact information, but so it's this power dynamic again. So the people that you do know, even if you're calling on behalf of business, when you call them, they know, like, and trust, like, hey man, what do you need? I'm trying to get deals. Okay. You just call a stranger and say, hey man, I'm trying to get deals. They're gonna be like, okay.
And
Like,
what do you, why are you calling? I don't understand. Okay, fine. Then if you keep hounding them, right, and this is why people hate it. It's understandable because I hate it. Like, I don't have a need. Stop calling me. If I have a need, it's not gonna happen in a week. Well, every now and then it does. Yeah, like 0.5% of the time.
Or every quarterly call
Yeah, and like
for 1,300 people.
that is what you're trying to do. So you're playing a very, very hard conversion numbers game, but there's still people.
Right.
And so the hard thing is if they don't have a need, what you have to try and do is create a relationship with them by getting permission to follow up with them, so that when they do have a need, you're there. So and I would find it, and I don't know what the question is, because this is where I'm not helpful for you guys. I've not had to do it yet. Does that make sense?
I liked, I don't know if it was last week at coaching but somebody said if they get to where they say the person on it and says they're not interested, okay, cool, well, can I count on you to refer me when somebody does have a need? So I added that to my cold call
Yeah.
script.
Are you gonna say it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would never say that. Personally, I like, because I don't know why I'm making it, I like, for me, if a stranger called me,
Yeah.
it's like, can I count on you? You can count on me for nothing. I don't know you.
Well, like,
But is it a good question to ask? Because could it get you business? Yeah. But you have to commit to doing it every time. And I mean, every time, because you're looking for the 1% conversion.
Yeah,
And that sucks.
that's mass reach too, because you're
100%.
you're planning on not ever calling that person back again. You're just going for,
Yeah.
that's a cold call script.
But if it's people you know, ask it all day long.
Yeah.
Ask them all day long. All day long, because the goal of business is to make money. Like, I'm not saying that the goal of your business is to not make money. You have to have it. Like, I think Simon Sinek has a really good analogy with a car. It's like, why do you buy a car? It's to go somewhere, right? So why do you have a business? You have a business to do something. The gas is the fuel that gets your car there. The money is the same thing for your business, okay? But we do not buy a car so that we can buy gas. Okay? Because we have a car, we have to buy gas. So if you're in business and you don't know why you were in business, it's never to make money. It's always, what can you do with the money you're making? Okay? Sorry, I don't even know how we got there. This thing, here's your, if you are struggling with conversion, this silly little freaking triangle is the thing that I was like, oh my God, okay, that makes total sense. So in order to create trust with somebody, and this is hardwired into us, we cannot change this. I know several people that I would not hang out with because I don't like them, but I trust them because they will be who they say they're going to be. Okay? Trust does not mean you like them. It means that you can rely on who they say they're going to be when they say they're going to be it. Okay? So authenticity, we all know people that aren't authentic. We don't like them. So that's a feeling. It's like, ugh. So authenticity when it comes to business is, do you say or do you do the things that you say you're going to do? Okay? That's all authenticity is. I stand for this. Okay. Do you actually stand for this? I do this. Cool. Do you actually do that? This has to be proven through actions. So in business, what this translates to is follow up. Hey, we should get coffee sometime. Oh, that would be so great. Cool. Make sure you follow up with them and set up a coffee date. Make sure you do the movie, because that's lead generation. Because you said you were going to. Or you said it would be fun, or you said it would be enjoyable, or whatever the thing is. That is how they will know that you're authentic. So with your phone calls with the people that you don't know, cool, I'm gonna call you every quarter. Is that okay? Yeah, you better call them every quarter. Because if they agreed to it and then you don't do it, they're not gonna trust you because you're not doing the thing that you said you were gonna do. Because in order for them to trust you, you have to do all three. Okay? You have to do all three because we don't like people that aren't what they say they are. Okay? Empathy is not relating to people. Okay? Empathy is understanding where they are. To understand where they are, what needs they have, you have to listen and you have to be present. So if they don't have a need, there's nothing you can solve for them. Your services are not needed. And respect it and move on, but follow up with them, right? The only way that you will figure out their needs is if you practice empathy. I mean, actually practice it. What about this is important to you? Why is moving your father out of his house and into assisted living? Like, I need to know. Because as you ask the questions, they will figure it out more as well. Okay. And the last piece is logic. They have to believe that you can solve their problem. If they don't think you can solve the problem, they might use you, but they might not trust you. You have to have all three. And it's really easy to do. I say it's really easy, but this is the conversion piece. Almost every single time when I sit down with somebody and conversion is the problem, it's, I'm not actually calling them. I'm not actually following up with them. Okay, well, but you're not converting because they don't trust you. They might know and like you. But if I'm going to give you my business, if I'm going to walk into like selling a house, which we do every day, but for them is a really, really big deal, I really want to trust you. I really want to trust you. Does that all make sense? So if you're not converting, it's either you're not following up, right? You're not asking the right questions. Let me be very clear with this. You might understand their needs, but they might not know that you understand their needs. Most of the time, this conversion, the thing that fixes the empathy piece is, so what you're telling me is this is why this is important to you. It's summarizing back to them. And they go, yeah, Elise is phenomenal at that.
Her years in law enforcement.
So this is the game plan. Oh, yeah, for sure. Great. I actually know you understand my needs. If you just keep it internally and you don't tell them about it, they don't actually know. And then logic is, do you actually know what you're doing? Because you have to do all three. If they know you, you get into it and you don't know contracts, or you don't know who to ask, or you're not actually working, or. Yeah, oh my gosh. It's gonna go so fast. Those are the ages we're talking about. We're not even taking the time. Makes sense? Cool. 20 minutes left. So what's the conversation you guys want to have with people that you know? I'll ask, can you go further quicker with people that you know in a conversation? Of course you can. So just jump. They don't want to hurt your feelings. So just ask them, hey, who do you know? I'm trying to hit my goal right now and I'm behind, and you know that I work. I'm trying to get this done. Oh, I'm not sure. You can ask that question a billion different ways. Like, you gotta ask it. So as like we can get on the board, we can write down like one. I guess what's the hang up? I'm trying to solve a problem. I don't even know what the problem is.
Right now, I've got hang up with my, like, over half my contact list, they're all other agents, so I can't really, I mean, I can use it to find the off-market listings.
Yeah.
So it gives me a reason to talk with them if I've got buyer's needs or whatever, but yeah, I can't ask them for business, like
Yeah,
like,
so you need more.
they're all right here, so it's not like I could even ask for a referral situation because they're all local real estate agents. So I don't know how much further I can go with people in my database that,
Well, it sounds like you need to add people that you don't know to your database.
yeah.
So then what's the conversation you want to have with people that you don't know? You guys, it can be as simple as, you might not have a need now, but do you mind if I follow up with you in the event that you do have one? 99% of the time they'll say yes.
And do you phrase it, like, how do you phrase that, like, just like that?
I wish I.
And then you
if I
just
could
add
go
them to
back.
your database,
When they say, yeah, that'd be great, cool.
and
All I
you
need
follow
is
up
your,
with them quarterly?
I got your phone number. Yeah.
Okay,
Like we just sent a mass text out to the entire database saying, hey, these are the things we're going to be doing over the next year. And We want to build trust with our database, so we're telling them what we're gonna do so that we can do it, so that they see that we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna follow up with them, but communication is so tough. What makes it tough is we get in our own heads a ton. Like, you have to, like, communication is two ways. They have to understand what you're saying. And so when we start trying to nuance the, like, these are the semantics that I don't care for. Well, I'm gonna use this word because it's a better word. Maybe, but do they know what that word means? And so sometimes it's really easy to say, just very point blank, do you have a need or not? And if some people you don't know and they ghost you, like, how many times a day do you get phone calls or automated text? How many times did the market center text you about Ignite that you did not respond to? All the time. And it's not, we don't take offense to it. I wasn't offended. I read it and I moved on. Okay, I'm good. I'm gonna be there on Wednesday. Moving past it. So there are people that don't even know you that'll be fine with it. I'm gonna invite you to this event that we're doing. This is what we're gonna do. Are you okay with that? If they say no, find another person. The goal is to find enough people that say yes, and then you just do it.
Okay, so this idea, I'm just thinking out loud.
Okay.
Tuesday, we're doing the homebuyer seminar.
Yep.
So can I make a Facebook page and do I ask the people, hey, do you care if I add you to this group, or
100%.
then it's a little bit less cold call-y.
Yeah. That's the best part about seminars. They're coming to you and it's in person. You're still getting the same outcome. Names, numbers, and people. You're just doing it in a way that you like better.
What kinds of things do you do for your sphere or for your?
So this year
Database.
we've given away, we were in an Alamo Draft House and we gave them 5 options. Now, you obviously don't do this
Starting out, right?
starting out.
Right.
They chose Jumanji. So we had a sphere event where we just all went and saw Jumanji, which the opening scene of that movie is a real estate scene, which is hilarious. I did not know that.
Me either.
It was awesome,
Remember
because everyone was like, hey, man, I was like, yeah, I didn't know that.
It's like, what, in 1995?
But the purpose of the sphere events is they already know you.
Yeah.
Right, so it's meant to be fun. And you don't even have to ask for business because they know why you're there. So we really just kind of built this out. So later this year, we want to have an event and we want this to be a nicer event, but I think, aren't you guys doing client events too?
Yeah,
This year's that kind of
we did
focus?
a real estate planning in March, and now we're getting ready to do a investment one in a
Which
few
is
weeks.
beautiful. We're doing a first time home buyer seminar, an investing seminar, seller seminar. We're gonna do like, hey, getting your house ready to sell.
Smart.
We're gonna try and do a luxury event for people that sent us business. So if you're in our sphere, we want everyone to get touched, basically. We want everybody to bring your kids. We talked about a photo thing, but my team is not great, with photos, and our sphere is like, we wanna get photos on things, because we're not doing the photo thing. Because we've texted them and like, we wouldn't show up to that. Okay, what about like a beer and real estate thing? They're like, you were into that. I was like, okay, great.
Will you tell Jason it's Tuesday, 6 to 8
Tuesday, 6 to 8.
at Relics?
Yes. Oh,
Tell him to get with Shanna for the details.
Tuesday from 6 to 8 at Relics. Text Shannon for details.
She's putting stuff together. I think we're meeting tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
But it's just stuff like that. We did a bowling event. We've talked about a bowling event. When on my first year, I did like a putt-putt thing. Like but it's, the point in those events is so that you can meet and talk with them. That's the whole point, because you do know them, there's already a relationship there. So I just don't want to lead you astray. So like you astray. The first time home buyer seminar is something we're going to market to, and it's going to be the people that we don't know. We are going to set the expectation up front. Hey, at some point, we're going to ask if you want us to follow up with you, if you think you want to work with us. But we're going to tell them when they come in, we're going to ask you for your stuff. And if you don't give it to us, it's okay. We think it's our job in between then to make you want to do it. And that's an option, it's optional. And the thing with it being optional and not a forced registration, like, so Brian Fisher is insanely good at this. If it's a forced registration, you get the contacts in and you hit your numbers. we like a higher conversion percentage. But we have to reach out to, we're gonna have to reach out to way more people to fill it in. To fill up the seminar. Because where like if Brian, for instance, required everyone to attend this thing, I need your phone number, your email address and your address. You would have 30, if say 30 people showed up, 30 of them would be completely filled out. They have everything that they need. The way my team works, we don't really want to do that. So we might have to do 2 home seminars to hit 30 people instead of 1. Neither way is wrong.
Right.
This is where it goes back to, this is just how me and my team operate the best. And we convert at a very high percentage. We're very intentional about that all the way through. What else you guys got? We got 10 minutes and we did practice scripts.
We should get together and do the same group, so it looks like there's more people versus all of us doing individual groups.
What is something that you kind of say just to? Sorry, the script is.
For 1s or 2s?
You pick.
Twos.
Tomorrow after.
For 2s, so for 2s, it's literally,
The meeting.
I know you might not have a need right now,
The other.
but I'm trying to build a business. And so are you okay if I follow up with you in the event that a need arises? Which is exactly, it's exactly what, but I'm saying exactly what I want.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna follow up with them. And every time I contact them, they expect it to be about business. Because if I don't know you, I don't know that I want to be in business with you, so I want to keep it as professional as I can. Sue Ellis. Last 10 minutes.
Gosh, everything that's come out of your mouth.
Are you gonna be a MAPS coach? No.
Like real estate investing, real estate too much.
That's a lot of time being a MAPS coach.
Real estate can like change people's world. Like it did for Sarah and I. And so like my whole team is built around like the amount of people that we listings that we've talked ourselves out of. But like then they get that $200 a month. They're like, we can use this for whatever I want and like everything's fine. So yeah, they're like we want to do this more. So it gets harder and harder, but yeah, like, and I can't really do that if I'm a MAPS coach.
Yeah.
But I thought about it because it'd be fun. I love the
You'd be
content.
good at it.
I appreciate
Oh
it.
my gosh, yes.
Yeah, you would be.
Let's give me 3 more, and we'll call it. 3 specific ones.
I like the ones that we were looking at before. Ones are the ones that are, I mean, I enjoy doing that part of it. No, I don't think I think people are lying whenever they say, yeah, I enjoy contacting the 2s. It's like, I was like, maybe you like the challenge of it, but
Ah,
nobody
very good.
likes, yeah, I don't know.
You follow the process of it, but like, ugh. That's a good one.
Economic versus housing,
Hmm.
and to just that visual to show someone that's arguing against interest rates or whether or not to buy or sell or what that looks like. That visual right there is like, aha, oh my gosh, I can see it.
Hmm.
I love that.
Awesome.
Well, I think that's helpful for us as the agents too. Like, let's make this make sense for you. And if it doesn't, then now's not the right time.
Right.
100%.
So, and here it tells us.
Yeah.
That maybe now's not right and.
And you've won them over forever, by the way. If you tell them that. Because you didn't just hard sell them on something. They actually trust you. Which is crazy.
And knowing what the graphs, knowing how to read the graphs or
Yeah.
to go down below, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Cause I cannot read graphs.
Oh, it's so
I'm not a
bad.
numbers person, but I just explained it. Made sense. That's perfect.
Yeah, you can go to those graphs. Read all those graphs.
Take the phone number down. If you guys have questions, please reach out. There are too many agents that get out of real estate that we shouldn't do. I think the attrition rate's like, gosh, it's insane, like 80% or something crazy.
I thought it was higher.
It might be higher. I would actually low play it because I didn't want it to be too crazy. But
I'm glad you're
still in the biz and I'm glad that you
Yeah.
to Keller and like,
for sure, and the guys' brokerage is incredible.
yeah.
I was
Something
at
else.
Murney and then Century 21. And go meet other people at other brokerages. This place is
I have
hands down the best.
EXP and Murney and I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Honestly, the Murney, like, they didn't even get back with me. Like, I was trying to schedule kind of trying to like interview them, never even got back with me.
Hmm.
I have a friend that's a Murney agent and she gave me the, broker's contact information and literally has still not reached out to me. It's been over a month. So for me, it was like, okay, well, I got the answer that I needed because,
You didn't know, you said. you were-
clearly they just didn't care. Like, he didn't care to even call me back.
Hmm.
Or text me or email me.
And we've got
So,
Haley, Landon, Rachel, Mike. Like, if before you get out of the business, make sure you exhaust everybody in this building. And I mean everybody. If you don't know Brian Fisher, you need to meet him. Yes, he's insane. He's incredible. At least Riley is phenomenal. Do you guys have offices here? Who else on a team? Sorry, I guess. So what team are you on?
It's actually just me and one other lady upstairs, Amber Lutz.
Okay, Amber?
Yeah.
Sweet. Who else was on a team? I saw some of their hands. Elias, Brian, you guys?
Rob.
Luck, right?
Renessa Williams.
Williams? Okay, very, very cool. Reach out to all of them. Beer's been phenomenal. There are so many
I
things.
do have one question. I think a lot of what I'm struggling with is a little bit of this like imposter syndrome, being so new and like, why should people trust me? I haven't done one transaction yet. And so trying to convince them that they should trust me when I feel like I probably don't trust myself
Mhm.
at this point. I
Do you
think
think that
is
you'll find the answer?
hard to get past. No, I mean, I have full confidence that like I can go to my coaching team and get anything that I need.
Mhm.
But I think it's that mentality of, I'm good at saying like, I don't know, I'll find out.
Mhm.
But you're dealing with the biggest purchase or like sale of, like.
Yeah, it
this is-
matters.
This is people's biggest asset. So I just think it's that whole like, they want to hire you with experience, but like you have to get experience,
Yeah,
before
or you have to be around experienced people.
they're.
Because remember, they have to know, like, and trust you.
Is tomorrow defining your value?
Yeah, I think it's Brian.
There you go.
Really good. That one's,
I won't be here live, but I'll watch the recording.
yeah. And with your, does it stress you out?
What?
Like the size of the transaction?
No, I think it's just like
I think it's insecurity.
just moving past that mindset of like,
I guess I'm trying to figure out what's the thing that is actually holding back though.
Is it just getting started?
I think so. I think it's just getting started. Like I was like sitting there thinking last night, like, what would I even do if somebody like called me today and was like, Holly, I want you to list my house?
I'll call you back.
I know, right? We're gonna be freaking out.
That's what I did. Like,
So really fast, what's the first step? If I called you and said, hey, I want to list your house.
Why are you selling?
No,
can
that's
we
good.
have coffee?
What's next?
Like,
And you can take disclosures.
Yeah, get their information, disclosures.
okay.
I know where it's at.
How
tell you what I did.
long have you been in the business again? You shouldn't know anything.
I was gonna say, I've been in 6 months and I've not done a transaction and I have no clue.
Okay, yeah.
So
It's
it's,
not like it's a fire hose. I mean,
It is.
so
So
much
what I just remembered
information
how-
coming at you at one
Yeah.
time.
just, all they care about if it's a listing is say, cool, let me get back with you. Basically what you're trying to do is just distance yourself. So
Okay.
I'll call you back. Hey, I want you to list our house. Awesome. Let me call you back in about 2 hours and I'll let you know what we need to do.
Another thing that I did is
Oh, that's
I
great.
went to people that I knew that has done it, and I made myself a checklist
Mhm.
for my first listing, and then I wrote down
That's
everything.
really good. I'll write that down.
So you can, and ask for either share yours with her.
So do you have like a buyer's checklist and a seller's checklist?
I'm gonna save you so much
I
time
love
here.
lists.
Do you guys have one?
And also, I
No,
print out
actually,
contracts
Elise
too.
does not, but
Every
I've been,
contract
Betsy and I
everybody-
have been
I
coming
print them
up
off
with
just so I
our
know
own,
how to
like,
fill them out.
Okay.
doing, like, coming up with
Okay.
something like a,
I can
because I
give you
do
those
like the
too.
buyer side, so.
It is like
I'm
a-
also
she writes
gonna
mine
do
down.
a checklist and a questionnaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Adam
really good.
Swinka actually sent
This is,
us
I feel like
one, and
we
I'm
might
gonna
know
start
this.
using it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
so, but just remember that's a reactive thing,
Mhm.
which is totally fine, but you still need to get the time to go back and look at it. Get like 10 of them. So when I started the team, believe me when I say I am not an organized person. And I had like 5 people that were like, hey, can you be with it? I'm like, let me call you back. And then I called like Adam, I was like, so if I start a team, what do I, like, just go. And I'm like, that's such an agent answer, just do it, just go. But then so I have to hire the admin, thank God, and then basically what we did is we went to all the bigger teams, now even the smaller teams, we're like, hey, can I have your checklists? And they'll all give them to you.
Yeah.
And then mash them together so that you have one that you like. But you can get like 10 of them.
That's a good
Even
idea.
the productivity coaching team too, because there's checklists in there too, power
Thank
play.
you, Jacqueline.
In the
Oh,
Google
yeah.
Drive,
Okay.
yeah,
I didn't realize that. I felt like I had
Where?
gone through
in
everything.
the
but-
Google Drive, in the
Okay.
team
Because it's a
drive.
fire hose. We've gone through it, but we
Yeah.
just don't know which
I know,
part
I always.
of
forget.
the hose it came out of.
It's osmosis.
I mean,
Password. I'm
it's
like, I put it here
seriously.
somewhere.
And just try and make a list of people that you can call. So if for whatever reason you call Shannon and Shannon doesn't answer, just keep calling. Like, you don't have to stop and wait and be like, what am I gonna do? Call like 100 people.
Okay, pull up a
So-
listing and just ask them all the questions that's
Yeah.
on there.
It's
Give you some info.
very, very easy. There's like 3 steps. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye, Blake.
See ya.
So good.
Hey, Blake, how long did it take you to get your information? To get all of your.
3 days in.
I know. The Google Calendar, because that's me. that always do
So
this.
the solution was is an iPad, but it's an app.
It's actually a flow chart.
Good Notes. It's a $7 app.
Okay,
And so it's an electronic notebook. So I've got 1,000 notebooks here.
okay, I have an iPad, so.
Good Notes. You can get
That's
pencils.
the one I told you
Okay.
it's not what you use.
Something I
Okay,
did.
Because
yeah.
it was so
My
helpful.
friend is
I
a
have,
realtor,
I'm like you, I have
and
like
I messaged her and I said,
password book and
I have a list
Yeah.
of my very
book and I
first
have
one, what
a
do I
notebook
need?
and I
she
have a
sent me
to-do
back
book and I
every
have a to-do
single
later book
thing
and I
that
have
she would
goals.
do
Oh, yeah.
on her
So you
listing,
can
and
still
just
have-
sent me back
you can
each
still have all your
form
books
that I
in
would
certain
need,
places.
like
But then
RES,
you can just
whatever,
click in so
you
many
know,
great
whatever it
folders, and
was.
then
She
the
just sent me
notebooks
like a
within the app.
little
Okay,
quick text.
what is it called
and then I
again?
knew
I got it.
exactly which
It's called
ones that I
Good
would
Notes.
need.
It's $7.
I literally
Notes.
printed it
Okay,
and
I will
carried
pay
them.
$7
I
for
just
that.
hand carried them
It
just
was
so I could go over.
The
it
best
myself.
$7 I think I've ever spent.
But you're not alone because, yeah.
And that's a good
It's,
expense.
It is.
it is daunting.
All right, thank you. I'll tell Anthony
And
you
it's
said
a
hi.
lot.
Yeah, please do.
Did you know Aaron too?
Aaron, I don't think so.
Aaron,
Older brother,
Anthony's brother,
younger?
younger brother, but they were in the same class because Anthony was
Oh.
held back in 3rd grade, so.
I don't think so. It's not coming, the name.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Another deal about
sports.
listings,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
if you look up the
Yeah, he did more
address on the
sports than
MLS,
Anthony, actually.
it'll answer a lot of your questions.
Aaron
I
did.
don't know.
He
We're
was,
already
he
filled
played
out
on special
time.
teams on the
Measurements are already there,
football team.
counties, taxes, everything's
True.
already there.
But he wasn't as
So
good
that- I
at
just-
sports
I got all the way upstairs, I was like, damn it.
as our own.
No, that's awesome.